You're pulling on my walls down. I've never been exposed like this before. I'm good at shutting you out. I've always had a way of keeping closed. Beating, hiding, I've been calling out your name from the darkness, thinking it's too late. If you're finding I've been too much on your plate, I'll keep hiding, calling out your name, calling out your name. Tell me how you feel. You're pulling on my walls down. I've never been exposed like this before. I'm good at shutting you out. I've always had a way of keeping closed. Beating, hiding, I've been calling out your name from the darkness, thinking it's too late. If you're finding I've been too much on your plate, I'll keep hiding, calling out your name, calling out your name. Calling out your name. Tell me how you're feeling since you got me out in the open. Now I'm ready to dive in. I know you told you it would be a slow burn. Beating, hiding, I've been calling out your name from the darkness, thinking it's too late.
Is a tornado warning.
No, can you roll it back maybe a couple frames and we can kind of see it?
Okay.
that might give us a better indication.
It looks like a lot of noise at this moment. It's hard to get a clear picture with a lot of these cells. I feel like there's it doesn't matter if you're looking at the Delta or this one cell that we're tracking just to the southeast of Brookhaven. It's not a clear picture. Right. I also wanted to point out that 6,100 customers are without power in the state, with most of them actually being in Franklin County as well, with over almost 2,000 out. 2,000 people without, or 2,000 customers without power in Franklin County. So that's another thing I wanted to point out. But yes, I'm not necessarily sold on the fact of something being on the ground at this moment. If anything was at all, it's not necessarily kicking up a lot. It's too wide of a look, but the velocity's there. I mean, we looked at this storm, and it's showing a very tight velocity couplet just to the south of Wellman and 583. That is something that we need to closely monitor as you get going. Please seek shelter immediately if you're in these areas, into Wellman, into 583, into Boca Chica Road, areas to the east of 583, especially along the I'm trying to point out major roads, and maybe that those of you that do live down there, or those of you that have family down there, might know it by the major road instead. So Melvin Mason Road, Wellman Drive, East Lincoln and East Lincoln Road, as well as Union Road, Highway 84 to areas to the south of Highway 84. That is the main concern right at this moment. But still, if you live to the north of Fair River, into NOLA, into Tyrus, into Oma, you want to be taking this situation serious. You want to seek shelter while you still have the chance to, because this storm is very capable of producing a tornado. It's not necessarily showing us a clear image on the debris signature, but still a very clear image in the velocity that we can easily see that there is some tight rotation there.
All right, and right now we have our storm tracker out in the field. The WLBT First Alert storm tracker is currently in Brookhaven, just to the northwest of the storm cell. Let's check in with Nathan Lee and tell us what you're seeing right now from your location.
Yes, Dave, we're out here we just passed downtown Brookhaven, and we're not seeing any damage so far, but we have seen a lot of lightning. I'm going to give you all a quick little look out. That is what we're seeing, a lot of rain. I know that's the greatest look right now, a lot of rain and a lot of lightning. Just about 20 minutes ago, we weren't seeing anything, not really any rain. If some, it was very light, not much lightning at all. Now that we're out here in Brookhaven, I know it's Dave and others have said that this is a hot spot right now, and you can see it in the sky. This lightning is very active. Rain is getting stronger, and obviously it is very dark out here. So for those that are on the road, I mean, this is a very interesting situation out here. Obviously, like we said, a lot of lightning, but we're gonna keep following along in this area. I know that this is a spot that Dave and others have said that is very active right now. So we're gonna keep following along in this area. But right now, I'm Nathan Lee. Let's go ahead and send it back to the studio.
All right, thank you very much. Be safe out there. Again, Nathan Lee and the WLBT First Alert Storm Tracker. Hey, we were just talking here while Nathan was giving his report. This is the cell near Boca Chica, which again poses a tornadic threat, mainly east of Brookhaven. The downtown portion of Brookhaven has been taken out of it, but areas east are involved. But you and Nay, I'm talking to you, and also Chase, were commenting about the hail. We spoke about the hail that was nearing the Delta before, but now it looks like there's some larger hail starting to pop up.
We were talking about how that definitely seemed to be the primary threat. Earlier today, we saw some strong rotation nearing the Delta, and we were worried, is that a tornado trying to touch down? And now we kind of have a clear vision that there's a lot of rotation, certainly, and a lot of that is kind of manifesting itself as large hail that's been falling across the areas in the Delta. We're looking at the hail tracker right now. Definitely penny size, but some areas approaching quarter size, especially farther south, and that area will be moving north of Vicksburg right now. Unfortunately, looks like it'll be tracking back near the Eagle Lake area. They've already had a lot of the force of this thunderstorm already as this line continues to move across into parts of our western viewing area. There are states that are bordering the Mississippi River. They are seeing a lot of hail. That's the main threat that we've been seeing moving into that area so far. We haven't seen the confirmation of a tornado yet. We have just seen strong winds gusting through the area and some large hail associated with these warnings, although we still see the marker on there, tornado possible. So it's very important just to keep in mind on all the different moving parts charts that we have going on with these storm systems in particular.
Back to regular radar if we can. Let's go into Rolling Fork. And I just want to give those folks some extra TLC here as we watch the radar. And you can see the heaviest of the weather is now passed over Rolling Fork, which is good. It's still very bad in Rolling Fork, okay? Don't get me wrong. But when I say the worst, this is the core of the storm, moving more towards Ritchie and Murphy, away from Rolling Fork. This is the eastern part of the storm, getting farther out on Highway 16. But at least the weather will only improve from this point forward in the Rolling Fork community. That storm is moving over you. So the tornadic threat is now east of downtown Rolling Fork. Again, Rolling Fork very much on edge after dealing with what it had to go through last year. And then you could see that this is going to be more of an issue towards Louise and Loch Lomond and the Delta National Forest as we go through the next half hour or so. But when you start seeing purple on the screen, it tells me a couple things. There's either very heavy rain going on or large hail contaminating or mixing with the rain. And so we do have hail out here. It's penny-sized hail, but there must be a lot of it coming down. Could be heavy hail, literally, and that's what's happening near Anguilla and south of Delta City, and also over Rolling Fork. So some small hail, but if you live in Rolling Fork, just want to tell you, in the next 20 minutes, the weather will improve dramatically, but you're going to have to wait that long until it moves on out. The weather's still going downhill. Louise, it's going downhill in front of this storm. Eventually, Yazoo City, you're going to have to deal with it, but you're not under a tornado warning right now. Going farther south, every county bordering the Mississippi River is under some type of warning right now. Maybe it's not a tornado warning, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning in the case of Warren County, Claiborne County, Franklin, as well as Adams and Jefferson counties. And then we've got our tornado warning here, which includes Lincoln County. It has moved past Summit, it's moved past Macomb, and it is now in Lincoln County, just east of Brookhaven, about to cross Highway 84. This is a tornadic thunderstorm that is moving north and eastward, coming out of Bogachita. The worst of it has moved through Bogachita, but now it's very close to the Wellman area and East Lincoln, and this will be moving across Highway 84 very soon, very close to Fair River. We've been looking at the debris tracker. It does mix in with some interference at times, but we feel there's a little debris mixed in here. Just don't want to overdo it because of the fact that we just don't have the ground reports to go along with it like we did earlier when we were talking about the storm that was farther west near McCall Creek. We had ground truth reports, people on the ground say, hey, I'm watching this tornado right now crossing Highway 84. We could pretty much line up everything. We're falling into a little trap right now because it's getting dark. If it's not already dark out there, I'm just looking outside our tower cam here, and that's going to be one of those things where these are now becoming nighttime storms. They're harder to see, and for a lot of people, you may not know you're even in a tornado until it pops up on you. And that's the danger and the difference between having storms, say, at 5:40 in the evening in late December versus 4:40 in the evening or 3:40, which is what we just had a little while ago. So this is where the most intense storm is right now. Just crossed Highway 583, and it is about to cross Highway 84 in the next few minutes. And what are your thoughts on that storm right now, Ine?
So we see that rotation. We've been watching it for the past several hours, and just like Dave was saying, with the debris, it's tricky once we get to this time in the night or in the early evening, because we can't really have those reports confirming whether or not this is exactly debris. But I will say that spot popping up just to the west of East Lincoln, it is kind of in a perfect spot with what we would see as the couplet. It is somewhere that we would expect, but we can't have that confirmation right now. We just know there's strong rotation with this storm and that it is definitely capable of dropping a tornado. So it's very important for those of us that are in the track that we've been going over the past couple of minutes that you do need to be careful and go ahead and be in your safe place. That's East Lincoln, that's Fair River, NOLA, and then farther south, Tyrus as well. And there are some smaller communities associated in between those. We got Oma further out. But I also, something else that caught my eye was another tornado warning in kind of the, I don't know, I should say boot, but the part of Louisiana that's bordering our counties, Wilkinson County. They have a tornado warning just below Wilkinson County. And as we continue through the evening, these will also be tracking into our southern counties as well. That's a similar path that they've been taking all evening, but that's just another thing of note That's as far south of Natchez, where they only have a severe thunderstorm warning, but there are more tornado warnings popping off to our south and west, and I was catching my eye because those will be moving into our area shortly as well. But for now, the most organized storm, definitely the one that we are tracking, that is to the east of Brookhaven right now. It's moving out of the Big area, but we still see that rotation along with it over East Lincoln, now starting to move out of that area. So now it's approaching Fair River, and NOLA seem to be the closest areas that we are seeing right now with this rotation. Once again, I'm taking to take another look at the debris signature. It's in the right area, but that could also be large hail and things like that. I'm going to check the hail tracker right now to see. We have some of that associated with this storm as well. A lot of things going on with these individual cells that are popping up in the area, but just for now, keep in mind, very important that we see many counties right now in this tornado warning.
Okay, and we're going to throw it to Chase Franks here in just a second, but just want to let you know I'm following our communications here behind the scenes at WLBT. We're getting a lot of pictures and a lot of video from you that's coming in, so we're going to be sharing that with you in the next few minutes. In fact, before we go to Chase, if it's all right, I'd like to show some drone video that was shot just a short time ago. That was with the tornado that was over Highway 84. Look at this. That is impressive video. Hunter McDowell shared this with us a short time ago. This is the tornado that went across Franklin and Lincoln counties. This is part of the technology that we have nowadays that we just didn't have a few years ago. But you can shoot a tornado safely from quite a distance away. I don't know if it's safe for the drone, but I will say for the person on the ground, as long as you're safely away from it. But this is the scene that we're looking at right now. Hunter McDowell, this was the tornado about 2-3 hours ago that crossed through Lincoln County. And again, vivid video. We appreciate you sharing that with us. Again, anytime you have any pictures or video and you want to share them, just contact us through the free First Alert weather app. You can swipe up when you get to the app, and it's very easy to submit the pictures and video. But that is just stunning, isn't it? I mean, just incredible. And you can see the sky just kind of rotating around it even. Mm-hmm. We have a new tornado warning. Just want to get to this real quick before I turn it back over to Chase. A new tornado warning going into effect. This is for Amite County and also Wilkinson County. And I bring this up because this is part of that line that is coming out of Louisiana. And if this keeps propagating eastward, eventually Pike County, you're going to be back in the mix once again. So you're probably thinking, wow, what's going on here again? But yes, this is what could happen this evening in some places. As we roll it into motion there, you can see the progression of everything. We have storms closing in from the west. And then we have these storms that are out ahead of the main line. They're moving from south to north, roughly, and that's what we're dealing with. These are the rogue, renegade, isolated, discrete storms, whatever words you'd like to use to describe them. That's what they are, and they're taking advantage of the atmosphere out ahead of the main line. But this main line, it means business, and when it slides across our area, which it will do over the next 3 hours, it ends the severe weather threat completely for central and southwest Mississippi. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Holmes County, a new severe thunderstorm warning for Yazoo City, just going into effect. Belzona, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning now as well. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning covering up a large area that will continue for some time to come. All these warnings are coming out very quickly. This involves 40,000, almost 41,000 people, goes till 6:45, and we have a tornado possible tag. What that means is it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but the severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado with very short notice, and that's really coming out of this. We just haven't had any real reports so far of tornadoes on the ground with that storm system. But Rolling Fork, the weather is now east of you and continuing to move away. And I wouldn't give you the all clear sign at all right now, but I would just say that the worst of the weather is now moving east of Rolling Fork. It's heading for Yazoo City, Lexington, Chula, Belzona. All that's going to happen in the next half hour to 45 minutes. Let's go farther south now and show you the latest on what's going on with storms in the metro, and it's pretty quiet. We don't have anything happening at this point. Remember, I was telling you about that storm that was coming out of Lincoln, went towards Hazelhurst? Where'd it go? I mean, it pretty much fell apart, didn't it? And now we have this one cell here that is located near, very close to between Monticello and Brookhaven, and that's lifting northward towards the Rockport community and maybe eventually Georgetown if it can hold together. But this is just showing you something. These storms, I don't want to say they have less potential, but it seems like they're not lasting as long. Each successive thunderstorm that we've been tracking out ahead of the main line. I'm looking at Nay, if you're wondering why I keep looking off the screen, I'm looking towards Chase. But each successive run of these storms, they're a little bit less long lasting, if that is a way to phrase it. They're just not lasting, less duration. They're not really making it as long. But what are you seeing right now, Chase, from your perspective, meteorologist Chase Franks, watching that storm like we are? You're keeping an eye on what's happening out there in parts of Lincoln County. What do you see on this storm?
Yeah, well, pretty much what we've been saying this whole time. A very strong velocity couplet. Here's a view of the radar signature as well. A very different look, but if you notice, has that little tiny hook where it's kind of matching the velocity, and the correlation coefficient as well is semi there. I want that to be known that it is showing us something, but not necessarily nothing at all. So it's important that those of you into the Fair River area, into NOLA, it's about to be crossing Highway 84, you are weather aware at the start of this storm system. It is heading directly towards y'all at this very moment as we speak. So please, if you are along Highway 84, live anywhere along there, or know anyone that lives along there, give them a call right now. There could be a very strong tornado very easily here in the next couple minutes with this storm system tracking off to the north and to the east. There's another, they just recently shaved down the update to exclude a lot of the areas on the back end of it into the Wellman area and back on the backside of West Lincoln. So the most recent model run, or the most recent update, says that at 5:49, a confirmed tornado was located actually over East Lincoln. So there's a confirmed tornado on the ground now. That area of couplet that we really are looking at right here, that's what we're seeing where that tornado is right now. It's on the ground over East Lincoln. It is making its way 9 miles southwest of Brookhaven, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. So if you have any friends or family that live anywhere along this area, Union Road is pretty much what we're seeing that system right now, tracking its way off into the northeast. Fair River Road just crossing over Highway 84 here in the next couple minutes. So please seat.
This is a tornado warning.
NOLA, Woolworth Road. You want to make sure that you seek shelter immediately. This is now a dangerous situation. We were talking about it having the capability of producing a tornado. Now it has produced a tornado. There's a confirmed tornado, radar confirmed tornado, damaging tornado that has the capability to be very, very strong. I'm reading what the National Weather Service is saying right here, so I'm going to step off. It will be near Sontag and Winilla around 5:55. So in 3 minutes, if you live in Sontag and Winilla, seek shelter immediately. In Oma around 6 p.m. So in 8 minutes, it'll be around NOLA, and then in 18 minutes in Rockport. New Hebron around 6:15. So if you have any friends or family in this area at all, here's a look at the debris signature showing you clear as day that we have that very tight debris, or not debris ball, but a very tight velocity signature. The debris is still a bit all over the place. Here is a look at it though, if you look off further to the north, but that is what we're looking at.
That looks
right
like
there.
more. That looks like more of a debris signature now south of Fair River than we've seen with the cell for a while. And so I just want to stress that that again, as you've been saying, you've been doing a great job explaining. This is now an observed tornado, confirmed on the ground tornado crossing Highway 84, and this is going to be very close to. Let's say we're almost about 10 miles east of Brookhaven now on Highway 84. We're close to the border between Lawrence and Lincoln counties, but we're definitely in Lincoln County here. And so just want to make sure that everybody knows this is going to move across the border very soon into Lawrence County. And then, as you've been mentioning, Sontag and Winilla are going to be in the path of this storm. It's a dangerous situation for sure, especially with this thing potentially being on the ground.
Yeah, it looks to be crossing over Highway 84 right now, and that debris signature clear as day now. Earlier, it was very messy, very disorganized, but still looking at, again, you have the chance to see some pretty large hail with this storm system, and the radar is looking quite organized as well. Look at that. Look at that donut right there over Fair River.
Why don't you explain what a donut hole means to folks? Because a lot of we talk about it quite a bit. We've seen quite a few of them in Mississippi in recent years.
We have seen quite a few. Even today, we saw with that one system earlier, showing us that clear rotation is kind of more of a defined scale where you don't really get a lot of precipitation actually falling in the area that we're getting that tornado. So that's why we're seeing that little bit of a drop here. That's where that tornado would actually be located, the area of the highest rotation here, as it kind of loops around that back end of that storm system. The inflows coming in, you get that very strong system. We have clear rotation of that strong donut is showing us that there is a tornado on the ground, not just that one little thing crossing over Highway 80.
Good evening, this is David Utton in the Channel 1 Atlanta Command Center here in Atlanta, where we're following major breaking weather event that is occurring this evening. It is now just before 7 o'clock here on the East Coast, 6 o'clock out in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, where a tornado outbreak is occurring tonight, and this tornado outbreak is expected to be dangerous and continue to intensify as it continues moving into and across the southeast this evening. We're expecting these storms to continue throughout the overnight hours and be in the Atlanta area around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. On your Sunday morning, we plan to bring you coverage all night long and be here for you live. We have reports that unfortunately one fatality is now reported in Texas as a result of these very dangerous storms. And we have had several now, unfortunately, confirmed tornadoes on the ground in Texas and Louisiana as a result of this very powerful storm system that's moving into and across the southeast this weekend. Of course, ahead of it, that warm Gulf moist air coming up from the south, and behind it, that bitter cold air coming in from the northwest. So, of course, the clash of the air masses, it's almost like a spring setup here in the south. Now, currently, here in the Atlanta area, we're experiencing low clouds and fog, and it's 55 degrees. So when you go outside, it doesn't really feel like tornado weather. But we're expecting a warm front to move in during the overnight hours and continue into and across the area. Stay with us for continuing coverage. Now let's go back to station WLBT in Mississippi.
Right, and radar indicates rotation. All right, so this storm will be near Vicksburg, just south of Vicksburg. It'll be near Newman, Regantown, and Rocky Springs. Severe tornado warning until 6:45. This does include parts of Hinds County now. We want to start alerting folks in the Metro Jackson area that after 6:45, we could be dealing with a tornadic storm in the Metro. So we're getting very close now. I would give you a heads up if you're in Clinton, Jackson, Madison, and Ridgeland. We have Edwards, also Simrall and Regantown, Galloway, and Utica included in this tornado warning. Take cover at this time. In the event there is flying debris. And then on top of that, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is covering a very large area right now. I'm going to tag that for you. And you can see this one is for a large area of 360,000 people are included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Hinds, Madison, Rankin, and Warren counties. So this covers up pretty much the whole area. Vicksburg, Madison, Jackson, Brandon, also Pearl, Flowood, Byram, Braxton, Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs, Byram, and Terry are all included. I hope I didn't say this twice, but also the city of Clinton are all included in this new severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7:15. So we're now getting into the thick of it, folks, with numerous warnings currently in effect. I'm going to pull out here so you can see. Orange indicates a severe thunderstorm warning, and red indicates a tornado warning. There are 4 tornado warnings on the screen here that we're watching, and one that's for eastern Lincoln, northern Lawrence, southern Copiah, another one that's for parts of, you can see there, eastern Warren, western Hinds, and most of Sharkey counties. And again, the most intense one, I hate to say it like this, but the most intense one would be the observed storm that is located very close to Fair River, really the NOLA community, and that's moving more northeast.
And I also want to point something out though about this most recent tornado warning, because I'm getting a good look at it over on Max 1. I don't know if they can change it over here, but this is the one that's south of Vicksburg. It's near Big Black and Humphreys, and I just think that it's looking very organized. We see that poking out ahead of the line, and then when I move this over to storm relative velocity, that's strong rotation that we're looking at right there. So they're not going confirmed on this, but this storm, it's looking pretty organized to me as well. I think this one is something that definitely needs to be watched. So if we kind of zoom in closer and show where that rotation is right now, it is near Jeff Davis. And yeah, look at that. That's some strong rotation that we've got going in there. It's getting pretty tight in there.
So we're getting into, that's going to be putting us, just so you know, I'm letting the folks know in the back where this is going to go. This is going to put us into northern Hinds County here very soon. But we're going to have this.
This is a tornado warning.
Next hour. Okay, so we're at 6 p.m. right now. We've been saying that we thought we'd be out of this weather by about 9 o'clock. And Nay, if you can, show the main line of the storms just on regular radar, and you can see what's happening here, folks. All right, we got this line of storms right here. It's basically bordering US 61. We'll use that as our frame of reference. All right, US 61. And the line of storms is along US 61, and it's moving eastward now at a pretty good clip. The southern end of it is moving 60 miles per hour. It's a little bit slower up here, but not by much. It's 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour. I think this is 40, that's 60. And what I want to point out is we have this tornado warning now that's really in effect, and this is important to note. We have two tornado warnings really in our area. One that's covering Hinds and Warren counties, but this is just outside of Vicksburg, and this is just outside of Jackson. So we're not over the major population centers yet. But if you live in, let's say, Natchez, let's go a little bit farther southwest to Natchez, that's it. You're done. The severe weather threat is over for you in Natchez. You are in the clear as far as the severe weather goes. Still going to rain for a while, but the severe weather threat is over. But this is the storm that we're watching here, and I am kind of curious, are you, Nate, whether this thing's going to make it past Oma and what they're going to do with it, because right now it's still going as an observed, confirmed tornado on the ground. We have a debris signature that we've been monitoring, and we can see it a couple different ways. Right. This one's going to be moving across Highway 27 before long. So the whole picture I'm trying to paint for you, if we can go back to the big view here, the whole picture I'm trying to paint is that while we are seeing some of these storms trying to get going ahead of the line, this line's going to take over here very soon, and the line's going to push everything out very quickly. The problem is, got to get through the line. Yes, and that's not something to take lightly. I see this white box around this storm. Oh yeah. They're confirming this right here in Wilkinson County, and that is a little bit out of our viewing area, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but we're just showing that this line is capable of tornadoes in itself. We talked about the cells out ahead of it, and we're viewing that right now. That is going to be in between Monticello and Brookhaven right now, which is more north of Monticello, this storm over NOLA, but we also are confirming another tornado far to our south and west over in Mississippi as well. So there's just a lot going on. This is just widespread severe weather that we've been warning about earlier in the day. Another thing that I am watching as well is this kind of notch that's poking out of the line in this new warning. Isn't that a new notch from what you were talking about? Like we were just looking at two different notches. It's pretty much getting more defined. Yeah. And that's something that this is continuing to catch my eye. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of, I don't want to speak too soon, but some kind of confirmation on this. This is looking it's looking organized. So where it is right now, it's over the Big Black River. All right, that's pretty much the bottom there, the Big Black River between between Claiborne and Warren counties. It's pretty rural. There's a couple of friends of mine have a fishing camp out there, hunting camp, but it's going to cross Highway 27 in about the next 10 minutes, and that's going to cross it probably very, very near the border of Hinds and Warren counties. And so when it does that, we probably will have a better idea as to if it's producing any kind of damage, because it's going to come across some, what I call civilization in that particular spot. So once it does that, we're going to have a much better idea as to what kind of thing it's producing. But I'll tell you right now, I'm kind of with you. I would not be surprised if they go confirmed on this storm very soon. And this speed, was this the one that was 60? Because I can go ahead and put a long track on this one, since it is going to be moving into more populated areas within the next hour. This one, if it's going 60 miles per hour, it's going to be into the city of Jackson, or at least into the metro, very close, if not crossing the metro, in about an hour. But go ahead, plot it out.
speed this up. This one I have it on 50 right now, so put that on 60,
Okay.
and then I'll just go ahead and just confirm this is the path. So it's going a little bit more east than other storms. Going to make a long track just so we can get everyone in.
Yep.
So we're looking near Raymond around 6:30, 6:29, and then into Clinton area 6:36. That's the Jackson Metro around 6:43. So within the next hour, we could be looking at this storm, and it's looking organized further back where it is near the Big Black area. But of course, we're going to have a much better view as it approaches us. It's getting closer to the radar, and then there's also, though, unfortunately, more opportunities to pick up debris as we get into more developed areas,
Yeah.
get into areas that have more infrastructure.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody right now, start paying attention in Metro Jackson. Take this very serious because this is in the right spot, if you will, to really take advantage of the atmosphere. This is along the main line, and even if we don't have a tornado from it, we're going to probably get some damaging wind. From this particular line of storms that we're looking at coming out of Warren County right now. You may have caught a break in Vicksburg because it seems like all the storms kind of jumped around Vicksburg or even literally went right over it. But you're still dealing with some pretty rough weather right now. Look at it, over Vicksburg, it's still coming down. Anybody who's watching is probably saying, does he know what the weather's doing in Vicksburg? Because,
right.
But if you know what I'm saying, the worst of this cell is just outside the city of Vicksburg. So is that tornado warning. It is literally just on the southern end of town, outside of town. So Highway 27 is where this storm is going to come across, very close to the Big Black River as it moves into western Hinds County. And all I'm saying is the tornadic part of that storm has passed Vicksburg. The worst of the weather has now passed Rolling Fork. Issaquah County, the worst of the weather has passed for you as well. It is still going to be a stormy evening. I'm not telling you to go out and celebrate or turn up the grill. I'm telling you to be cautious, but I'm just saying the worst part of the storm has now passed you. We are also watching what's going on with this storm now in northern Lawrence County, keeping a very close look as to what's happening with that.
Yeah, Dave, I want to say something about that storm, actually.
Do it.
We got a report in the National Weather Service chat. There was actually a confirmed tornado on the ground on Highway 84 near Hemery. So that's just in between the Brookhaven and Monticello area approximately 10 minutes ago. So thankfully, we've seen it kind of weaken a little bit recently, but we still have a pretty clear velocity signature with this storm. It's still very strong, still has the capability of producing a tornado. No confirmations if there is one on the ground at the moment. No confirmations of damage either, but we do have a confirmed report that there was a tornado seen with this system crossing Highway 84 around that Fair River area in between Brookhaven and Monticello. So that is something to report with that cell that's moving to the northeast now.
And either way, that's definitely not weak wind. We can see those bright colors. That is some strong rotation that we're seeing with that storm still. And it was confirmed just a few moments ago, just like Chase said, when it was crossing in between Monticello and Brookhaven. And this is the strongest storm that we're still looking at right now in our viewing area. And it's been warned for, what is it? Has it been an hour yet? It's been a while since we've had this particular storm.
This one's been going a pretty good while. Look at that. The wind field looks like it's spread out a little bit more on it. Each scan is going to reveal something a little bit different about this storm. We're going across Highway 27 now, and we're now in northern Lawrence County. Almost the entirety of the tornadic part of this storm has crossed 27. So we've crossed two major roads. We've gone across US 84. We've now gone across 27. And the bulk of this storm is about to cross 27 south of Oma. If you're in Oma, over through about the New Hebron area, I'm going to say just in between. I hate being so broad about that, but that's where the worst of the winds and this storm are currently located. So a dangerous situation. Again, back to the storm that is moving into Hinds County. Coming out of Warren County, alerting everybody in Metro Jackson, please prepare for this line of storms. If this is going to continue to behave the way it's behaving, we could have a problem on our hands in the next 40 minutes, maybe even less, half hour, 45 minutes. The way this thing is moving, this will outgrow or really overreach the warning that you're currently seeing. And it's about to cross Highway 27, which is where we're going to have a little more folks living outside the Hubbard community as it moves northeastward into Hinds County. Champion Hill, Edwards, Flowers, Raymond, Utica. These are all places that are in the path of this potential tornado. You're in the red, and And of course, we've got Interstate 20 out here as well. Arrival times: Smith 6:18, Edwards 6:20, Champion Hill 6:24, Bolton 6:28, and the airport in Raymond, it'll be at 6:30. Again, we have a tornado warning that is currently in effect for parts of Hinds County, and that will continue moving eastward as we go through the next half hour to 40 minutes. We want everybody on alert, especially for those of you that live in the Clinton area, because that's where this storm is looking like it's going to be tracking northeastward more, at least the next 30 to 45 minutes. And again, Vicksburg looks like the tornadic part of the cell literally went south and east of town, passing it. Now I'm looking at, Nay, I don't know if you can pull it up. Or in the back, guys, can you pull this up? Can you show the tower cam from Raymond? It's on Max 2 if you can't easily pop it in the control room. But I just want to show you, we're looking right now at that storm from our tower cam in Raymond. And you could see it. Guys, if you can, push Max 2 or take the tower cam from your control board. There we go. Okay, perfect. Appreciate that. And you can see all the lightning that is currently coming out of the storm. We are 1,500 feet up in the air. Am I right? We're on the Raymond Tower Cam. Sorry, I don't want to make sure. Okay, yes. 1,500 feet up in the air right now, and we're staring at this storm. I don't know. There's another tower out there, obviously, but we're staring at the storm. Look at the amount of energy in the atmosphere right now. This is just something awesome. We're in night vision mode. That's why everything's black and white, but you could see all the strobing lightning going across the sky. And this is from that storm that is currently crossing Highway 27 in western Hinds County and is currently moving northeastward across the area. So this is the storm we're going to be keeping a very close watch on during the next half hour to 45 minutes. It's a team effort here at WLBT First Alert Weather. We even have Maggie Wade here this evening, and we're going to be checking in with you, I guess, in a moment.
Yes.
All right, we have some news information to share.
We do. We do know from Franklin County that there have been some injuries, and right now we're going to be talking with Mallory White. She's with the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, or MEMA. Mallory, thank you so much for being with us. We know it's been a rough day across parts of Mississippi. What can you tell us right now about injuries and damage in parts of the state where we know there has been severe weather?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, right now we have very preliminary reports coming out of Franklin County. We do know at least 2 homes destroyed. We do anticipate more being reported to us later. And right now we do have 2 injuries in Franklin County that have been reported to us. Like I said, this is very preliminary at this point. We're urging people to just stay informed, get in your safe place whenever it is time to get in your safe place. And if you do have damage to your homes, go ahead and report it. You can report it to MEMA by going to our website, mscma.org.
Now, we've been listening to our First Alert Weather team all day. They've been keeping us informed. We are not out of the woods yet, so it's important for people to stay informed and also to stay out of those areas where we know there is damage.
Absolutely, yes. Stay off the roads if you can. I did see some reports from the troop down South Mississippi, the Highway Patrol, saying that, there was debris on the roadways. Obviously, those are things that you can anticipate, especially with the type of winds that we're experiencing right now. Another thing is know your safe place, and especially as we go into the nighttime hours. We do not like these nocturnal storms. If you do plan on getting some sleep tonight, make sure that you have a weather app or something that is loud enough to wake you up in case there is a tornado warning in your area.
And we also need to remind everyone that MEMA is keeping watch. Will keep us updated on everything that's going on throughout the state of Mississippi.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Mallory, thank you so much. Well, Dave, we also know in Lincoln County, this came from the EMA director, Chris Reed, that they have trees and power lines down there. They also have 1 or 2 homes with structural damage. Of course, our news team right now is all over the area, making sure that we're keeping you up to date on damage. But the best thing you can do right now is to listen to our First Alert Weather team. And again, as Mallory said, know your safe place and get to it as quickly as possible. if a warning is issued for your area. Let's go back to Dave now.
All right, Maggie, 2 new tornado warnings just being issued right as we speak. Let's get to it. First one right now going into effect for southeastern Rankin County, northern Simpson County currently. We have a new tornado warning in effect. This is for also northeastern Lawrence County and southeastern Copiah County. So Rockport, northeastward Mendenhall, then over to about McGee. This includes the Braxton area as well and the Delo Water Park. We have a potential tornado located 9 miles north of Monticello. This is moving northeast at 40.
This is a tornado warning.
3,100 people that are currently in the path of the storm. Again, I'm going to tell you the towns that this is going to be near: New Hebron, Shivers, Rockport, 615, Panola, Union, 620, Mendenhall, 630, Sanatorium and Delo, 635, McGee and Martinville, 640. Again, a tornado indicated by Doppler radar moving northeast right now. Go ahead and Nate.
45 miles per hour?
45 on
45.
it. I got 45 miles per hour moving northeast, 45 miles per hour right now on this storm. So this is where we're tracking right now across the area. And you can see McGee, Puckett, Pinola, Shivers are all included in it. And we've got the list of towns that you need to know there as well. We have another tornado warning that was just issued. This is a new tornado warning. This is for Warren and Yazoo counties. This is on the northern part of that line. And this includes the community of Satartia. All right. This includes northeast Warren County. This includes western Yazoo County, northwestern Hinds County, east central Issaquah County, and west central Madison County. This storm is moving east at 50 miles per hour. 50 miles per hour, and it will be out over the open country right now. It is located, the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, located over Flowers. So that's in western Hinds County, eastern Warren County. That's 11 miles northeast of Vicksburg. And so we've got another cell. So this is the cell, Ane, that we were talking about 20, 30 minutes ago. If you can come back to me on the screen here. This is the cell that we were talking about 20, 30 minutes ago near the Rawhide community. That continues moving northeastward, all right? And then we've got the other one. Look at that, right over Edwards here. This is where that other node is sticking out. So we're going to have to really keep watch here. If you're in Madison and Hinds counties here, these warnings are encroaching on your area. They're getting close. Flora, and then over through Clinton. Flora's right on the edge of this tornado warning. Probably if you have a Flora address, you live close to the river, the Big Black River there, you're going to be included in this tornado warning, but it does make a difference, all right? The whole area on this screen is going to get swept by this line of storms in the next half hour. So, and you can see as our screen updates there, that is very fast, is it not? It is moving eastward here at 50 miles per hour. So you just do the math. It's about 40-something miles from Vicksburg to Jackson, roughly 50, depending on how you take it on the road there. So you do the math. This is going to be over Metro Jackson by about 7:15. And so we're going to be looking at very intense weather. Even if it's not tornadic, we're going to have damaging winds as a pretty good likelihood from this line of storms that's moving in. If we can go back to regular radar just for a second. I know you got debris tracker there, but let's look at regular radar. There you go. And you can see everybody's going to get included in this. Yazoo City, you're going to be possibly dealing with the storm. You're right in the tornado warning as well. All right, and that stretches southward through western areas of Hinds County right now. But this basically gives you the lineup. Pickens, Canton, Madison, Ridgeland, Jackson, Clinton. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning.
This is a tornado warning.
Yazoo County and western Hinds County, that's where the tornadic portion of the storms are. Vicksburg, the weather's improving. Rolling Fork, the weather's improving for you as well. Natchez, you are done with the severe weather threat. So areas that are right along the Mississippi River, you're done. You're out of the severe weather problem for tonight. But look at all these tornado warnings that we now have, and everything is converging in the next half hour, 45 minutes, over Metro Jackson. So that's what we've got right now.
And we do have reports also of this storm that we've been tracking near Simpson County. That one has been strengthening over the past couple of scans. At least it was a few minutes ago when they were saying in the chat that the rear flanking downdraft, I hate to use the the jargon, but that it's very pronounced, they were saying earlier, and that they were feeling like at that time this could be dropping another tornado at any moment. This is the same storm that we've been looking at for a while now, and we see that it is to the west of New Hebron.
Yes, New Hebron.
Yeah, excuse me.
That's
and
right.
then it's moving towards the Shivers community, Bridgeport, eventually down towards Panola. This is the storm that we are looking at. It was pronounced as organized. It's been that way multiple times in the evening. We were able to confirm a tornado on this for about an hour ago, about half an hour ago. And it's seeming like it is strengthening again. This is the storm that eventually will be moving towards the direction of Mendenhall. So definitely, if you are in this particular warning, be aware that this could be dropping a tornado soon. If it has not already, this is something that is very important to watch. Like all the other warnings we've been looking at as well, it's just we kind of have to jump around now, because we're seeing a lot of things kicking off. This storm that will eventually be headed towards the Jackson Metro, that's also looking pretty defined. The rotation that we see south of Edwards.
I was going to mention that Edwards is looking to have one of the more clear definitions of the velocity signature. Even on the correlation coefficient, there's a little notch in there just into the Edwards community that lines up very, very closely to that velocity signature as well. So I think that we should be mindful of a possible tornado there, as well as the fact that it's traveling fairly quickly off to the northeast. It's already in that Edwards area right as we speak, right on top of areas almost along I-20. If you are planning to travel along I-20, just immediately cancel those plans, because we are talking about a very strong line of storms that is making its way across I-20, one of which is having the capability of producing a tornado. That's one of the more clear definitions of the velocity signature that we've seen with this embedded line of storms. And that's usually what we look for, is those little notches in the velocity tracker here in much of these storms.
And the debris signature as well, like you pointed out a few moments ago. That one, it's more clear. It's less scattered than some of the other ones that we've seen.
It's right over
that
Edwards
little
now.
notch
Yes.
over Edwards
Right
is what
over
I'm talking
Edwards.
about.
And that would make sense for it to have debris as well, as it's moving into a community. So this is something that we want to be very careful of. This very well could be a tornado that we're looking at right now as well over the Edwards community. That'll be in Champion Hill shortly, as it's moving towards the north and east. And this is one of the quick storms as well that we've been mentioning.
That's going right up Highway 22 for those of you in northern Hinds County. Listen, I want to stress folks in Metro Jackson, now's the time to prepare. You have less than an hour. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Metro Jackson now. Okay, this could be upgraded to a tornado warning very soon. So let's go over a couple things real quick. First off, Anae, we have a lot of power outages, right? What's the latest on that?
Absolutely. Let me pull that up here in just a moment.
I think we were over 20,000 folks without power. What I want to tell you,
This is a tornado warning.
We're at 21,065 customers now.
all right, so 21,000 people without power. Want to remind everybody, come back to me on screen if you can for a second. Want to remind everybody a couple of things, all right? One, on the free First Alert weather app, if you lose power, you will not have to lose watching us. Okay, so if you're going to go take cover, you're going to get to the lowest floor of your home away from windows, you can still watch us through the free First Alert weather app. All right, very important you know that. So you don't have to bring your TV with you. You don't have to sit in front of your TV. If you're going to go take cover, go ahead, feel free and safe to do it. Just watch us through the free First Alert weather app. When we have tornado warnings, our station broadcasts this coverage through the app, so you don't need a TV in front of you. The other thing is cover your head, all right? If you have helmets in the house, this is my personal hard hat, all right? Use it for a bunch of projects around the house, other things that I do, but I want to tell you, if you've got something like this, great. If not, Anae, you were saying it before, what, a football helmet?
Yes, any kind of helmet that you could possibly use. If it was purchased to protect your head, then it will be useful in this situation. So that's a bike helmet, maybe even a motorcycle helmet, or maybe you have a football player in your family, even a baseball helmet. Anything that is hard and it's designed to protect your head, that's just what you want to do going into this situation with these storms. And that, as well as pillows, you want to make sure that you are safe places. Comfortable, just be sure to be protecting those very, very vital parts of your body, those vital organs. If you do happen to be under a storm that could be producing a tornado as you take shelter, you just want to protect yourself from debris.
I've seen people use spaghetti pots before.
The strainers.
But I've seen them use, I mean, whatever.
I used pots and pans as a kid. My grandma would always put them on my heads and I'm still here.
Yeah, so it's very important you know that, folks. Again, make sure that you have access to that. Also, remember, you got to get away from windows if tornado warnings are being issued, because that's the biggest thing that can hurt you is the flying debris. So very important that you do that. Again, always cover yourself. We've got this graphic to kind of remind you of these things. Always seek out a safe place in your home, away from windows, lowest floor of the home. Basement sounds great. Most folks don't have basements this far in parts of central and south Mississippi, but a storm shelter, a lot of folks are getting them now. And if you do have a basement, okay, and it's a safe place to go to ride out the storm, but you see that's a great spot right there. The other thing too, the bathtub. We talk about the bathtub. The other thing is you also have covering yourself with a mattress. Just something to act as a shield when we're talking about this, because we've got two kinds of tornadoes going on right now across our area. And we'll go back to the screen here to show you. Come back to me if you would. And don't be shy. Come back to me and so I can point this out. Thank you. And you can see that we've got numerous tornado warnings out for western parts of Mississippi right now. That's all associated with the line of storms that has now pushed east of the Mississippi River. It is east of Highway 61. So the weather's improving in Natchez, the weather's improving in Vicksburg and in Rolling Fork. You're good. The worst of the weather has moved on through. But then we've got this other thing popping up here in Simpson County, and that is this tornadic cell that is west of McGee, west of Pinola here. It's going to pass over Pinola by the Shivers Fish House here. And move more northeastward towards Highway 13 and get closer to Mendenhall and maybe the Delo Water Park. It's very important you understand this is an isolated, discrete supercell storm. It's kind of doing its own thing, taking advantage of the atmosphere. Once that line that's farther west sweeps on through, it pushes everything out of here. But unfortunately, we're still going to have to deal with a cell like this for about another hour or two, at least in our area, before this gets out of here. So we're looking at a severe weather threat that's going to go for at least another 90 minutes, I would say. Maybe I'm being a little bit of an optimist, but eventually all of this weather will clear on out. But you notice in the orange shaded here, and we're talking about a large portion now of central and southwest Mississippi covered up with severe thunderstorm warnings. When you see orange, that's severe thunderstorm warning. That means damaging winds are a likelihood. When you see these red boxes, these are tornado warnings. That means a tornado is imminent. It may be a radar indicated tornado, and all of them right now are radar indicated tornadoes. That is different from what we were showing you just a few minutes ago when we had the white boxes. The white boxes means they're observed, they're confirmed. They're on the ground crossing the road being observed by spotters. So at least right now, it's on the lower end of the bad scale is what I would say, but it's still bad as we're watching numerous tornado warnings right now impacting central and western Mississippi. And it's just a matter of time before Metro Jackson maybe possibly goes under tornado warnings as we continue to watch a very strong line of storms that's moving eastward. This line, I mean, how strong could the winds possibly be in this line today from what we've been taking a look at here? Upwards of 70 miles per hour. I mean, they're moving 60 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, so it wouldn't take much.
They're definitely getting pretty strong in this area. I'm going to go back to the outbound, but then also it's important to note that Chase has been looking at debris with this storm, particularly the one that's south of Yazoo City, and this one is definitely an area of note, something that we need to be keeping our eye on as well. With this storm, it's kind of going back and forth like they have been doing.
Edwards is showing us a clear debris signature now.
Okay.
With that one storm system a little bit further off to the south. Edwards has a very strong and tight rotation that we've been tracking. You can still see it just to the northwest of Bolton.
It's right there over Champion Hill.
Right over Champion Hill. And the correlation coefficients, I'm looking at radar scope right now, and it's showing a little notch in there that's perfectly lined up with the storm circulation. It's not necessarily looking to be fairly clear on our debris tracker right now, but I just want that to note that is something that we should keep in mind, that that storm, even without the debris tracker, we're talking about a very tight couplet in that velocity signature, and it lines up fairly clearly with our first alert radar as well. So there's a lot of ingredients, a lot of things happening there that should be very mindful of.
All right, this is going to be in Brownsville, Pocahontas, and the northern reaches of Clinton in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're in Clinton, you need to be on alert for this storm. It is moving in your direction. It will be there within the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'm talking mainly the northern part of Clinton. Look at seems to really be converging there in northern Hinds County. I have a new tornado warning I need to tell you about, though. As soon as you plot this out, let me do this first. Brownsville, Flora, in there. And then go farther south into Pike County.
Yeah, Dave's mic has gone out, but still just to the north and to the east of that Champion Hill area. Again, that storm system is going to be traveling towards the Clinton area. So if you live in Clinton, you need to be in your safe space right now. You might not even be in the warning zone just quite yet. So please be very cautious. If you're in the areas just to the west of Clinton, Raymond, into Edwards, you're looking pretty good right now. This storm system is moving relatively quickly along that Highway 22 corridor. You can see that clear velocity signature that we've been tracking throughout much of the night tonight. Still making its way off to the east-northeast, traveling pretty much parallel along Highway 22 now. Areas north of Clinton, you need to be on alert. Areas into Brownsville. Nate, can we get a little bit of a closer zoom in on the exact area that we're going to be looking at right now for a little bit of some more close neighborhoods? Champion Hill off to the north along that Highway 22. If you live along Bolton and Brownsville Road, that is something to be mindful of. Take shelter immediately. You're not in that warning on the back half of this warning, but again, if you're in Brownsville, you're not in that warning yet, but still looking at that rotation heading towards your direction, Pocahontas, into 10, into Flora. You need to be very mindful of that situation. So again, there are multiple warnings in all of central Mississippi. No matter where you are, we're looking at multiple warnings. Let's get a broad view, and then Dave will take a look at that broad view.
Especially with this storm in particular being so fast and moving, but also what Dave was going to say before his mic went out a few moments ago, this new warning in Macomb.
Yeah, new tornado warning for between exits 1 or mile markers 1 and 18. Mile markers 1 and 18. If you live in Pike County, anywhere in those mile markers, Holmesville, Magnolia, Osika, Fernwood, you have a tornado warning that is currently in effect for your area. A new storm just popped up there. This is a tornado moving east at 55 miles an hour. Radar indicating the cell, possibly indicating a tornado that could be capable of producing a tornado. And this is moving east at a very good clip, 55 miles per hour. So we're all seeing something in common here. The line is accelerating eastward right now, and that's going to pose a problem. Why? Because if they are spawning tornadoes, that's going to be a problem, number one. Number two, even if without a tornado, it's going to produce damaging winds. Now we've gone back to an observed tornado. Anae, why don't you take it from here? Confirmation on the tornado, and that would be in eastern, what would that be? Southwest of Mendenhall near Pinola. In Simpson County.
Yes, and the things are moving so quickly this evening, but it's like we see one new warning, and then we see right here when we get the white border around a tornado warning, it is confirmed again, which we were looking at a few moments ago, a strong area of rotation. And even though we do have the debris signature, looks like it's kind of all over the place here, a tornado has been once again confirmed. I believe that was through radar. That was confirmed with radar. But also we have seen this particular storm even in itself that has left some damage farther behind in some of the counties that it's passed through. We have had a lot of power outages due to this, so this is something you definitely want to be careful with. It's near Pinola right now, pretty much right over the worst part of the storm is right over that community, but it's definitely quickly approaching the Mendenhall area. And then even if you're in the western part of Martinville further down, you want to be concerned with this storm as well, as that is approaching the area. And just to get kind of a closer look rather at sort of where it is at the moment, then we're seeing not only over Pinola, but it also be approaching the Merritt area. It's near 28.
All right, Anae, we have to switch gears now. We now have a tornado warning for the Metro Jackson area. So let's switch gears. Let's take a little posture here, guys. Here's what we're going to do. Chase, if you can, take our tower cams, start turning them westward. Okay, that would be in Ridgeland. If you could turn our tower cam westward there. We probably should check in with our tower cam in Raymond, get that position looking westward too, and maybe even our downtown cams here in Jackson. We are now seeing a tornado warning in effect for the city of Madison, for Ridgeland, for North Jackson, for Clinton, Lake Caroline, Canton, Annandale, Flora. All of these areas and Bolton are all included in a tornado warning. This includes the Nissan plant area up through Berryville and goes over to the west shore of the Res. All right, so now we are watching a tornado warning that has been issued for Metro Jackson. This tornado warning is currently going to go until, give me 1 second here, till on 7:30. It's going to be out for 1 hour. as this line of storms moves quickly eastward across the area. The severe thunderstorm that we are tracking is near Bolton, which is the one we were just talking about that was near Champion Hill a short time ago. This one is moving northeast now at 40 miles per hour. It is 10 miles west of Clinton. So the way this is moving, this is, like I said a few minutes ago, this is going to move across the northeast side, the north side of Clinton, and then go across North Jackson within the next half hour. I want to stress this, even if you live in South Jackson, the city of Jackson, Rankin County, or even northern Copiah County, and you're not under a tornado warning, you are going to be dealing with an intense line of storms moving across your area too. So even though this may not be a tornado warning right this moment for you, you have a very intense line of storms that is going to be crossing our area very shortly. I would not even think about driving in this weather in the next hour with what we are about to see. So again, can't stress enough. We now have a tornado warning. Come back to me on screen, please. We have a tornado warning in effect for Madison County and northern Hinds County. Madison, Canton, North Jackson, Clinton, Flora. It goes all the way back into parts of Yazoo and western Hinds County. This includes the Raymond area. Rankin County, South Jackson, Copiah County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, until this line clears the area, this is going to be a dangerous situation with this line of storms moving west to east across the area. The reason why I just had Chase turn the cams westward is because, one, we'll be able to see the lightning, but it's the only way we're going to be able to give you that visual look at a tornado on the ground, if there is a tornado on the ground, because we're going to be high up in the sky looking at these storms, and the lights from the ground and the lightning should illuminate any tornadoes that are out there. So that was the only reason why I just want to tell you we've got to kind of get into position on this. Go ahead.
I have two more updates for you.
Go,
so not
please.
only do we have that confirmed touchdown in Panola, but we also now have one in Hinds County, just to the west of Flora, as well as one in Tinsley in Yazoo City. So two more confirmed tornadoes on the ground in Yazoo City, out near Tinsley, as well as in Hinds, west of Flora right now. So we have two more confirmed tornadoes on the ground, according to the National Weather Service.
All right, so there you go. We are now in it. It's now approaching the metro. It's going to be crossing the metro. Guys in the back, if you can pull up the tower cam real quick, the Raymond cam. I'm just curious to see what kind of lightning action we're seeing now, because we're probably going to lose the camera very soon as the ceiling, if you will, the sky is going to drop below it. So if we can pull that up and we can show everybody the lightning that's out there, but I'd like to show what's going on with the Raymond tower cam, if you have access to it, just to show how much lightning is currently coming out of there. All right, I guess we can't do that. But anyway, tornado warning in effect for Madison County right now. Northern Hinds County, you can see Canton over through Madison, Ridgeland, and Clinton under this tornado warning. The storm is approaching from the west. It is just west of US 49 and continuing to move eastward right now. Going a little bit farther south, you could see, Chase, are you able to pull up the Raymond Tower cam where you are on
Yes,
Max 2?
Yeah.
All right, nobody's talking to me in the back, but if they can hear me at all, maybe they can pull it up on Max 2 or something. But you can see the storm that's sitting southwest of Raymond. That's really close to our tower cam now, and I'm just curious to see what kind of lightning that's putting out. But you can see Chapel Hill over through Palestine. That's where that storm is. We're now getting really close to the city of Jackson on this, and whoa, that is some serious lightning.
If we can pull up on Max 2.
Yeah, Max 2, guys. Pull it up on Max 2. But we are seeing some dramatic lightning here. It's almost continuous. And when you see continuous lightning like that, that's where you're getting really, really bad stuff. There we go. All right. Let's see. You can see the lightning in the distance. And wow, the ceiling is really starting to lower now. Again, our tower cam is 1,500 feet up in the sky, basically. I think we're a little bit below 1,500 feet with the actual placement of the camera, but this is what direction? Are we looking at west?
Yes, this is due
So
west.
we're getting close here to this actual storm cell that's about to blow through. And this is the line of storms that is tornadic. Do you want to see if you can kind of just shimmy it a little bit just to see?
Yeah,
We can
I'll try to look around.
We might be able to see. Let's take a look around. We're going to put Chase on this here, and just see if we can actually see maybe the tornado that's currently out there. This is again Raymond, and we're looking westward, but you can see. Whoop! You know, we can turn that off a second there.
Sorry.
There you go. It's okay. So you can see that as far as that goes. Yeah, you able to move it? Oh, you're logging in there over there? Okay. All right, we have a tornado warning now in effect for the rest of Hinds County. Let's go take a look at this in the meantime. Back to Max 1 if we would, while Chase. Chase, you look around, let us know if you can find something. But we now have a tornado warning in effect for the rest of the Metro Jackson area pretty much. This includes all of Rankin County now, just about all of Rankin County, excuse me, not all of it except for Pelahatchie, north central Copiah County, southern Hinds County. This will go until 7:45 this evening. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is currently located near Crystal Springs. This is moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. This is a new tornado cell, a new tornado warning. If we can drop a little bit farther south, Anae, there it is, right outside Crystal Springs. You can see it, well-defined notch. This is moving towards Terry, and this is moving towards the city of Jackson. All right, this storm will be near Dry Grove, Jackson, Whites, Byram, and Terry about 6:45. Florence, 6:50. Richland and Monterey, 6:55. Pearl, 7 p.m. Flowood and Brandon, 7:05. Fannin at 7:15. Pisgah at 7:25. Again, a tornado warning now in effect for the Metro Jackson area. We are tracking numerous tornadoes. Some reported to be on the ground, some are just Doppler radar indicated, but we now have multiple tornado warnings in effect for the Metro Jackson area. Canton, Madison, Ridgeland, Clinton, Lake Caroline, Annandale included in one tornado warning, and then another one that includes the rest of the Metro Jackson area. Yazoo County, it is a confirmed observed tornado. A line of storms will cross the Metro Jackson area during the next 30 minutes. And as it does so, it will produce damaging winds and there will be tornadoes out there. We also have a separate tornado warning in effect for Simpson County, and that is from a storm that's very close to Mendenhall that is moving northeast. This is observed and also confirmed. So very important to note these things. That will be crossing US 49 very shortly. So this is a very active night, folks, and we are watching multiple storms now that are about to cross the Metro Jackson area. Anae, if you could, just give us a tag on some of these warnings to let us know how many people are actually under some of these tornado warnings. And there we go. It's now an observed tornado for the city of Jackson. This is confirmed. All right. Heads up in the back, guys. Make sure that if we have people out on the road, that they'll be able to report in the right places. We now have a confirmed observed tornado approaching the city of Jackson from the southwest. This particular warning has 250,000 people under it. Let's go farther north now into Madison County. This one has 84,000 people under the tornado warning. So again, we have multiple tornado warnings in effect, for our area.
I'm going to check how many people are from Yazoo City as well, because that is also a confirmed tornado. We're seeing a lot of tornadoes across the area right now, and that one, 11,000 people. Almost 12,000 people for that one. That's in Yazoo County and Madison County as well. That's a northernmost tornado warning that is also confirmed. It looks like that one was just extended as well, almost approaching Pickens. But this, we've got that line in the area now, and it is unfortunately doing what it was expected to do. We're seeing multiple tornadoes being observed, and those are moving into our population centers, the most populated parts of the state, actually, where you got the whole Jackson Metro. We've got Madison County under 2 different warnings, even parts of Hinds County, 2 different warnings. That's 2 different confirmed tornadoes moving across into the area. So definitely be sure to get in your safe place, as we also have these storms moving quickly within the next 30 minutes. I believe that's what Dave said a minute ago, that those will be sweeping across the state.
This is a tornado warning.
Moving into a time of seeing some widespread thunderstorms. Going to move back to regular radar so we can see if we can observe those notches from the radar. It's a little bit hard to see just from this angle, but I definitely think this one, yes, north of Crystal Springs. That's what we're worried about, hitting South Jackson and the Jackson metro area as it continues to track towards the north and east. This is the one that we are seeing that's going to eventually be moving across most of Rankin County as well. By 7 o'clock, it's going to be near the Florence area, around 10:15, the Pearl area. But this is a storm that we can see this little notch right where the I-55 marker is, right north of Crystal Springs. And then if I go further north, it's let's try to look for the other storm that has been confirmed that's going to be affecting parts of Madison. This one's a little bit more tricky to see. If someone can give me, would it be the one that's towards the east of Bolton, the one that's about to head into Clinton? I believe that's kind of a notch right there. Would that be where?
I can see what you're saying.
Yes.
It's there are multiple notches. The good news about this system is once it moves through, which it's moving fairly quickly, and that's the little victory here is once it pushes through, you're looking good. Utica already in the clear. A lot of people over in Edwards and Hubbard, you're still under that tornado warning, but still, you're on the back end of that storm system. So once you clear that first initial line, you're looking good on the back end of everything. So that's the little victory here. The bad thing is that we're seeing multiple spin-up tornadoes associated with that frontal line. So if you're heading on out, I would 100% recommend hunkering down. Do not get on the roads, people. Just go back inside. If you are about to head on out to do any activity outside, forget it. Just go inside. Tonight is not the night for any activity whatsoever. We're talking about multiple dangerous tornadoes, some possibly on the ground at the moment, with widespread tornado warnings, not just encompassing here in the metro, but across almost the whole entire portion of central Mississippi. So it encompasses a good chunk of people. So I'm not talking to just the people here in the metro. I'm talking to almost every single one of you watching right now that we are talking about multiple widespread tornadoes passing through portions pretty much parallel of I-55 right now. So areas to the west of I-55 are looking a lot better than areas to the east and along I-55 right now here in central Mississippi. So that is the little victory. If you're back into Natchez, into Vicksburg, you're looking a lot better than areas into Brookhaven, Boca Chica, places like Monticello, Mendenhall. We still have that confirmed tornado down near Macomb. Tylertown need to be on alert, and places further off to the east. Now we have
another observed
tornado into Brookhaven, and just pretty much, I believe, to the north of that Boca Chica area, in between Hartman and Brookhaven, is where I would look to be seeing that tornado right now on the ground. So we have multiple confirmed reported tornadoes here in central Mississippi. So this is a no joke. Hunker down. Just settle in for the night, people, because it's only getting started for us here in central Mississippi, and we're going to be tracking out multiple storm systems tracking through.
Hey, Chase, can you do me a favor? Can you set up a tour of tower cams for us?
Yes.
So we can kind of see what's going on from that perspective. Next thing also, Chase, I'm sorry to kind of bark orders here, but we only have a few minutes before these storms come over the city of Jackson. The other thing is, any additional information you can get on the observed tornado, confirmed tornado coming into Hinds County. Let's stay on top of that. All right. And right now, Anae, if we can, let's storm track the actual storm that is in Hinds County that is going to be approaching the city of Jackson. We're going to focus on what's in this white box, because this is where we have a confirmed observed tornado that is right now headed for the city of Jackson. We have 250,000 people that are under a tornado warning right now for an observed tornado. Then you add in the other tornado warnings that are currently in effect. It's well over 250,000 people, somewhere shy of 500,000 people right now under a tornado warning. This is quite significant. So 254,000 folks in this observed tornado warning that goes until 7:45. And what I'd like to do is take the storm that's just the storm cells really in this area here.
Crystal Springs, yes.
Right. And this is the one that's moving northeastward. So I think that while that's going to move northeast towards Rankin County, okay, the line of storms is going to sweep the entire area. So even if you're not going to get the tornado, folks, all right, it's going to be a doozy of a storm here in the next 20, 30 minutes. All right, coming into Terry, coming into Byram, 650 Terry, 656 Byram, 701 Florence, Brandon, 714, 735 Morton, 746 Forest. This is when the storms are coming in. Some will be tornadic, some will be severe. The whole area is basically going to get wiped by this line of storms in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Here's the good news. It's not going to last that long. The worst of the weather will last about 20 minutes. All right, so that's the good news. But all of this stuff is going to be moving across the area. In the white box, again, and if we can, let's take the radar off just for a second, just to show folks what cities are involved in these tornado warnings. I think that will help people out. But if you know anybody in the metro that you think isn't paying attention right now to the weather, they need to be paying attention right now. Tornado warnings extend all the way from Yazoo County right down to the Louisiana border as we speak, just about with the exception of maybe the city of Macomb. But you can see we have numerous tornado warnings in effect right now in the red boxes. The orange boxes mean there are severe thunderstorm warnings. A warning means the threat is imminent. It's happening. All right, the rest of the area is under a tornado watch. We'll get to that in a second, but let's talk about the tornado warning right now in Hinds and Rankin counties first, and then we'll talk about the one in Madison County. So if we can, let's zoom in on Rankin and Hinds just to show people the communities that are involved. Brandon, Pisgah, Florence, Pearl, Byram, Terry, Jackson, all involved in this tornado warning. And then we've got a tornado warning for Madison County and northern Hinds County that includes Clinton, Canton, and Madison. In that particular case, we're watching it as well. Back over through Flora, Dover, and then over to Yazoo City, a tornado warning is currently in effect. Now what I'd like to do is let's go over to Max 2. Chase, do you have the tower cam set up, or am I going a little too fast?
No, I got it all ready for you.
All right, so let's go look at these sky cams, get a little tour of what we're seeing, because all of our sky cams are strategically placed here that can look westward and look at these storms as they're approaching, and we can see if we can pick out any of the tornadic signatures ourselves. Okay, so why don't you tell us what you've got lined up?
Yeah, so in the top left, I got the strength and roofing cam here. And again, we're starting to see, again, the heavy line of storms stretching into our area. A lot of lightning associated with it, no matter what camera you look at. The camera up near the Renaissance, I think, has the best picture for us to look off to the west. Again, seeing that low line of storms stretching into our area. I think I see that wall of just clouds stretching fairly low even if you're looking close at the TV, if you can get very close, like I'm looking at it very close here. Again, here in downtown, just looking off to the west, and we're seeing a very strong line of storms rolling through, the heavy lightning associated with it. And then we have that other view down near Tylertown to show you off into the distance that a storm system is going to be brewing. But again, let me
that lightning is something else.
Yeah, the lightning is something else. I have a clear view here where I just wanted to really just look at one that I think that we can see kind of the best view of.
Let's go through some of these storms and then we'll go through the forecast. How's that, Dylan? All right, let's go down the line. Let's look at all of these confirmed tornado warnings. This is a pretty impressive little appendage. Let's start with that one, and then we'll go north, and then we'll go south. I know it's kind of backwards. But again, the main line is going to be producing 70+ mile/hour winds. It's these little extrusions, these little appendages out ahead of the main line, or along the main line, that we can see tornadoes. And see, to me, that looks like a debris signature right there. Let's go through the three. Yeah, there's high enough reflectivity there, I would say. And there's probably still some kind of small tornado that's going on there. So this is likely to actually pass south of Jackson. So you see this big tornado warning here. That's really for this. And so it's the Weather Service saying, you know, there's a little spin up here. First off, we don't know how long it's going to last. Which direction does it go? I think it's more likely that it goes south of Jackson than headed directly into the city. And I know that's a tough thing when you've got a city of that many people, like the idea that we would expect so many people to get into their tornado shelters. Hey, do it if you feel comfortable. I think it's always a good idea to err on the side of safety, but I also want you to make sure to take it really seriously when we have the big one coming through. You know what I mean? Okay, we're going a little bit south of town here. Let's check out this other tornado warning where we have a confirmed tornado. How did the velocities look on that?
It's a little messy. Honestly.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. We'll take your word for it. Yeah, there's a little action over here. And let's back it up. I'm wondering what they saw. It's probably that part of it, right? Let's see. Yeah, it is pretty messy. Or maybe it was this part of it up here. No, the warning wouldn't look like that. Look. Here's the best way to message this. 70+ mile/hour winds you can expect, I would say, along pretty much that entire line. And if we do get a quick spin-up tornado, it'll probably be a lower-end one and probably won't last that long. That's not to say it's not possible to get a stronger tornado than that. Once in a while, you'll see one of those along the line, but it's pretty uncommon. And so far, we haven't seen any of those with this line, with this storm. All right, let's get to the forecast for what this is going to do through the rest of this evening. By the way, there's a view below me here of areas just west of Jackson, Mississippi. That's an MDOT camera that we have just west of Jackson. So through the overnight here, be prepared for this line of storms to come through. It's going to create quite a bit of damage. I think we're going to see a lot of power outages, big lightning just below me there. Again, that's west of Jackson. Birmingham, Montgomery, these are all spots that are going to be dealing with a line of likely severe storms coming through during the overnight. By the way, Memphis is under a flash flood warning. I don't want to forget about you guys. That'll go for the next couple of hours. We've got some street flooding, but the rain is moving through, and things should improve pretty soon. This is a level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk. So just to compare that to today, today's at a level 4. So the system's going to lose some strength as it moves to the east. But I'll be interested to see what happens during the afternoon. Don't be surprised to see a little bit of an upgrade. They might upgrade to a level 3, a little bit farther toward the east here, because sometimes what can happen is Atlanta, you're going to get the leftovers from whatever, from this line of storms that is going on right now, the line of storms that's moving through Jackson. Whatever's left of that, that's going to be a line of storms during the morning in Atlanta. They might still be severe. They might be just sub-severe. But it's going to be a nasty line of storms any way you cut it. And then later on in the afternoon tomorrow, you see here we are at 4 o'clock, there might be enough time for some daytime heating to destabilize the air enough that these storms could actually kick up and be a little bit worse as I get into eastern Georgia and parts of the Carolinas. So we'll see how it all pans out. Again, we've got a lot of rain that's going to fall. And look at this. This is definitely a story here. This is probably the most significant rain that we've had in western North Carolina since Hurricane Helene. And by the way, keep those people in your thoughts, because there's still a lot of problems. There's still people living in tents. They've had trouble getting their FEMA money, etc. A lot of issues. There's still people that are struggling there. So not good to see the bad weather coming into there. I want to leave you with this. There's your line of storms. It is moving through Jackson as we speak. Jackson is under a tornado warning. There's your tornado. It appears to be much smaller than some of the tornadoes that we had earlier. It's moving south of Jackson. Listen, the next couple of hours, we're not done with this. Tennessee Valley, you're going to have some serious storms moving through overnight. We will catch you next time, guys.
This winter, when you find yourself looking at this,
I'm going to try to put a correlation coefficient on that just to see, and kind of as expected, it's for the place. But then there is that dot right in the middle that's kind of right in the middle of the couplet, which is a little close to where we would expect it to be if it was picking up some debris. So either way, we know it's some rotation, and we know it looks quite impressive, and you're under a tornado warning. So this is something not to play around with. It wouldn't take long for anything to happen if it did want to. So this is something you definitely want to take seriously. And that is south of the Berryville area. It'll be easier to see if I put it on velocity. If you guys can see that little couplet, Dave pointing to that one. That one you see. So this one is going to be moving near the Cobbville community.
Yep, and then eventually up by, this will be up by Deasonville and the Way area and Vaughn. So in these areas of eastern Yazoo County. How are we doing on power outages, Chase? If you can, keep us posted on that. A little bit farther south, let's go into Jackson here, because the storm is getting very close now to the city of Jackson. And we're going to go do a little tour of the tower cams here just to see how they've changed in the last few minutes. But you can see the city of Jackson is about to see this line move across. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
The couplet in south of Jackson as well.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about that was over Metro Center. And this is now more pronounced, isn't it? Yes. It's getting very close to the station. So we're going to continue to monitor this. I told Nate earlier, I told her we don't have to worry too much about tornadoes at the station. And I said, I've only had one experience with a tornado coming over the station. What are the odds of it happening again? So let's hope tonight I didn't bring myself bad luck. But the bottom line is I stayed on the air for the first one. I'll probably do it again for this one. But you could see this is getting very close to downtown Jackson here. This will be approaching Flowood, the old part of Flowood, if you will, the older part of Flowood. How about that? Where the steel mill is, and then we're going to be over in Pearl very soon, 10-15 minutes tops. We're seeing some purple here near Presidential Hills, very heavy rain or hail mixed in. All right, we're also seeing very strong winds. Can you give us an idea what kind of the winds we're dealing with right now? Let's go back to the couplet in South Jackson, almost by Forest Hill High School, and can you give me an idea what the winds look like there?
All right, so let's get a measurement on some of these winds. The stronger areas where we see the red, let's go back. It's looking... taking a moment.
That's okay.
12.
You got to hit your little win button. Let me hit it for you.
I think I was on the question mark.
That's okay. You're fine.
There we go.
All right.
We should be now.
Well, you got to be on wins.
Oh, right. Velocity. Okay. There we go. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Okay. So the red area. This is where. Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe the purple. We're seeing a lot of things are going on right now, and
primary hazards include blind people, pose the danger to anyone caught without shelter. Structures such as
Good evening, I'm David Dutton in the Channel 1 Atlanta Command Center here in Atlanta. We're broadcasting live tonight. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central, and we're bringing you continuing coverage all night long of a unfortunately deadly severe weather outbreak. We have reports of at least one person confirmed dead in Texas as a result of clusters and lines of severe thunderstorms that are moving into and across the southeast today and tonight, and producing severe weather and tornadoes. Some of them have been strong and long track. We're actually following those right now across Louisiana and now moving into Mississippi. They're moving across central and southern Mississippi right now, headed toward Alabama and Georgia during the overnight hours. And they should be here in the Atlanta area right around 6 a.m. So we're going to be with you at least until 6 or 7 o'clock Sunday morning with continuing coverage of severe weather. Although the intensity may weaken a little bit, we're still expecting a severe line of thunderstorms to come through metro Atlanta early in the morning. So make sure you have your phones charged overnight and have a way to get emergency alerts on your phone or NOAA weather radio in the event a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning is issued for your location. Again, we have reports of one fatality, and we have widespread damage reported, numerous trees down across Mississippi as a result of these storms. We're seeing pictures of homes damaged and so on and so forth. So we'll continue to monitor the very latest damage reports for you. And now we're going to continue with a confirmed tornado warning now. A confirmed tornado is now moving into the Jackson, Mississippi area. Let's go back to local station WLBT now for the latest on that.
Sign to show that this line is weakening. But even if we're not talking about the tornado threat, we're talking about damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour here in the metro. So that is something to be very cautious of.
Well, what do you think about Richland?
Yeah, this is the thing. We're watching this one now.
South of Richland.
South of Richland here. That's where we're seeing another couplet, it seems like, developing.
Yes.
And this is the thing. There are multiple circulations now that I am seeing in all of this activity. By the way, winds are gusting to 40 miles per hour right now in Jackson. All right, so we're getting these strong wind gusts, all right, and they're sweeping across the city as we speak. All of Jackson now is encompassed in this wall of rain and wind, and it is moving into Pearl, into Flowood right now. Ridgeland, it's approaching from the west. If you live west of I-55, you're in it. East of I-55, in the next 5 minutes, it's going to sweep across Ridgeland and much of the southern end of the res very quickly. But I don't like the looks of this. Sorry to kind of dance around your question, Ane, but is this what you're talking about, the one that's on Flowood Drive?
So the one that likely is it, because things are moving so quickly. There was that little hook near Richland, and then next time it went away, and now we're seeing, let's look at the velocity with that. At least it's not looking as tight, no rotation.
But it's going to be over Eastover in the next few minutes, over the Eastover community and crossing just west of Treetops, but it's going to be more towards Eastover and by the hospital. All right, let's go to a bigger view here. We have multiple tornado warnings now. All right, multiple tornado warnings are currently in effect for our area. So let's take a look at the new tornado warnings that have just gone into effect, if we can, and that will basically show us what's happening. Let's go over them, Renee, if you can. Take this one, if you would.
So that's the one, I believe the one that's right outside of Mendenhall will be the new tornado warning. That's around Georgetown. And we do see an interesting shape taking place here as well. We're looking for, whenever we see a notch of the storm kind of poke out ahead, and then it seems to kind of curl under. And the camera's reversed, so it's kind of hard for me to depict this, but where you see something that looks kind of like a hook, just like what Dave is going over right there, that's what we see rotation depict itself as when we're looking at radar. So I'm going to move this over to velocity, and we see a interesting looking couplet, at least to me, over near Georgetown, where we have some areas of pretty strong winds, at least some pretty strong velocity going on there, and that is really close to where we were seeing that kind of, not necessarily a hook, but a little bit of rotation that we can see in that area. So this is definitely something to keep our eyes on, and that's near Georgetown right now. That's right over Georgetown.
So this is going to be moving across Old River Road, across the Pearl River from Georgetown to Harrisville. We're now in Simpson County, folks. This is going to be going over towards Braxton, and if this keeps moving northeastward, it's going to be just south of the Pineywood School and keep going northeastward into southern Rankin County. Otherwise, from Mendenhall eastward, it's still relatively quiet for the time being, but this line of storms will encompass the whole area before long. Back into Metro Jackson we go, and you can see the line of storms is now coming into Madison, coming into Ridgeland. It's cutting across Jackson, heavy rain over Jackson. This is spreading eastward into Rankin County. Chase, if you're monitoring the chat, let me know if anything new pops up in there that we need to get to the folks immediately, okay? And you can see that things are updating very quickly. They're moving 50 miles per hour, 55 miles per hour. It's just nearing the airport. Look at this interesting outcrop there. It kind of just filled in the data, I guess.
Right.
But that's where that node was, wasn't it? That we were kind of looking at in here?
That was it. That was it, outside of Flowood for sure.
So that keeps moving northeastward. That's over the Dogwood area now. It's going to be over Pelahatchie very quickly, Pelahatchie Bay, excuse me, very quickly. So if you live on the east side of the res, 10 minutes, within 10 minutes by 7:15, you're going to be covered up by heavy rain as well. City of Brandon, 10 minutes. That's how fast everything is moving right now with all this weather. Heavy rain, gusty winds. I've been monitoring just to see what some of these weather stations are doing. I don't know if you could see it on one of our screens there. We've actually got a weather station on top of the roof right here. I'm going to hop in.
While you were doing that, I have an update from Chad. So there's several solid areas of
This is a tornado warning.
night, and they're all along the line, especially in that southern half into much of areas south of I-20 is where we have seen a lot of just different areas of circulation just forming, quick little spin-ups that we've been seeing. So it's there have been multiple areas that there could be a tornado or at a tornado right now. So it's really just hard to see a lot of the data. That's what the National Weather Service is saying, and that's what we're seeing as well. It's really hard to see in between all these storm cells. But again, it's actually talking about if we can go to areas back into Yazoo and Vaughn, areas southwest of Vaughn, there could be a small tornado on the ground off to the north. So this is up near Yazoo County, again, off into areas up into Holmes as well. That area just got extended into a tornado warning as well, up near Evans into Decemville, Benton. Look at all those little notches that we're seeing, where we see that blue mixing in with the green and the red. That's where we really look for. Again, it's all over the place. There's no real areas of clear definition of velocity, and the debris is not necessarily there. So that's a good sign into seeing not a confirmed tornado on the ground necessarily, but again, we're looking at areas that have the capability of producing a tornado at any minute all along this line. It doesn't matter if you're in South Mississippi or North Central Mississippi. Even here in the metro, we're all looking at areas that could easily put a tornado on the ground at this very moment. So no matter where you are, seek shelter immediately for areas east of I-55. If you're in McGee, if you're in Forest, in Raleigh, if you have friends and family in Meridian, Hattiesburg, give them a call, give them a heads up, make sure they're doing okay, make sure that they are weather aware into the night tonight. But McGee, Raleigh, into Forest, into Carthage, you're going to be on weather alert mode throughout the night tonight. Even into Tylertown, you haven't seen the thick weather just quite yet. So as this storm passes through, you'll be done once the storm does pass through, but you could expect damaging wind gusts up to 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour, some large hail associated with them, some of these cells. And again, we're looking at, actually, we are looking to confirm a report from a spotter. He is reporting heavy damage in Georgetown in the National Weather Service chat. So let's try to...
in the Georgetown area.
Let's try to get our eyes on
that. Would make sense because we just saw a couple.
That
was the one that we were just showing that was coming out of Georgetown, going across the Pearl River into Simpson County. It's okay. There's a lot of moving parts here tonight. Winds are gusting right now, 52 miles per hour in the city of Jackson. Okay, winds are gusting right now 52 miles per hour in the city of Jackson. Even if you're not under a tornado warning, even if you're not dealing with a tornado, that's where the winds are gusting right now in Jackson, and that means that they're probably even higher in other spots around the area. I'm just looking at some of the observations here, but we have reports coming in from Georgetown. If you can, I'm going to take you up on a little tour with me, Ane, and it's going to be right here. There you go. And this is where we just received some reports. Again, we're going to confirm them. We're working on it. We actually have a crew not far from here, and we'll try to get them positioned near there. But Georgetown, that's where the worst of this weather is. And I'm watching what's going on here. Braxton, it's moving up towards Braxton. It's moving up towards Mendenhall. Pinola, I'm going to back off a little bit here so you can give me some more room to work. But you can see, this is where the line of storms is currently, and it's moving eastward, 50, 60 miles per hour right now. If the storms are moving 60 miles per hour, you know what that tells me? The wind's blowing 60 miles per hour at least. That's what's blowing all these storms across the area. So we're looking at very dangerous weather there. Good news for you in Crystal Springs and Hazelhurst. The severe threat is over. Okay, the severe threat is over for you, but the rain threat is not. Heavy rain will continue falling. Anywhere east of this line, the weather will still be going downhill. Let's go back to the metro now. We have a tornado warning in effect right now for Metro Jackson. City of Jackson right here. Winds gusting 52 miles per hour in just the last couple minutes. And then you can see the weather is now closing in on the airport, moving into the city of Brandon and Castlewoods and Fannin. This continues to move eastward. Then we've got heavy weather over Ridgeland. Let's go to Madison County. Ridgeland, Madison, you're in the thick of it right now, up to the Nissan plant. All the worst weather, the leading edge of it has now moved east of US 51. This is about to cross the res and keep moving eastward. Then you've got Canton here, and with Canton, everything is currently crossing over the city. The heavy weather is just reaching the Canton Square right there in our latest scan. The Nissan plant already dealing with heavy rain. And as Anae's been watching very closely and diligently this evening, there are these little nodes that pop up here, these little notches that we have to keep watching. And even as Chase was mentioning, he said they keep spotting them, they keep seeing them, and we have seen in some cases they've led to potentially some tornadoes that are doing damage, as in the case of Georgetown. And in fact, even a little bit earlier in parts of Lincoln County. In fact, our own Nathan Lee is right now with the WLBT First Alert Storm Tracker, currently located in Lincoln County. And Nathan, if you can, check in with us and tell us what you're seeing right now and what kind of damage have you come across?
Yes, Dave, we were actually heading to Franklin County on Highway 98 East to assess the damage out there, as those shells and storms were earlier in the day. They were in the Franklin County area, and we came across a tree on the ground, which caused us to turn around and go back west. And then we ran into another tree on the ground. So the damage is being seen out here. We're going to actually show you right now on your screen is some of those trees that we have encountered are actually going back to Interstate 55 now to get back in there to Lincoln County to assess some of the damage out there as well. But right now in Franklin County, we couldn't quite make it all the way there, but there is damage from what we've seen as we are making it up to Cude. But once again, the weather is bad out here. The rain is still picking up. We've seen lightning as well. The debris is out. So for those of you that know anyone that could possibly be on the road, tell them it's not the best idea. Debris is out. It is flying. So once again, we're out here in Franklin County getting our way to Lincoln County. I'm Nathan Lee. Let's go ahead and send this one back to the studio.
Thank you, Nathan Lee. Stay safe. And WLBT's First Alert Storm Tracker. More pictures coming in right now. If you can, just tell me in my ear where we're looking at some of these pictures or where they're located. I see them on the screen. Sorry, down trees, Highway 98 East in Meadville. Okay, we'll come back to it later. Let's go to Max 2. I want to take a look at what it looks like right now from our tower cams, our WLBT First Alert Skycam network, and if we can show what that looks like across the area. These are some of the views right now. You've got Tylertown in the northwestern corner there. You've got Ridgeland, the Renaissance in the northeast box. Then you've got Market Max. That would be, Tylertown's in the left box and the right box. These cams are going in and out. And then the Jackson Water Cam. If you can you swing the Jackson Water Cam back around to the state capitol? And we can take a look at that. That currently is pointed westward, and the storm is now moving east out of the city of Jackson. Getting a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning here at the station, that's for sure. But this is the current view in the metro. Conditions are improving over the city of Jackson, although it was pretty rough here for the last 20 minutes. And that's what I want to tell you. If you are...
This is not tornado warning.
Storms, what I would tell you is that you're going to be in the worst of it for about 20 minutes. That's how long this weather is going to last. It's going to continue raining for probably another hour beyond that, but at least 20 minutes of some really bad weather. That's what we're going to be dealing with as these storms move on through. There's our Jackson water cam, and you can see it's looking over the state capitol, the old state capitol there, and the rain continuing to fall, the lightning also falling out there. We're also gathering reports, trying to focus on where we have damage reports coming in. Seems like at this point in time, at 7:15 at least, as we're coming up on that time, most of it seems to be in Lincoln or in parts of Franklin, or it would be in Copiah counties. That's where the vast majority of our damage reports are coming in right now. We've been talking about Meadville. We've been talking about McCall Creek. Then we also have reports now in eastern Lincoln County. Let's take a look at some of the pictures of the damage you've been sharing with us.
Actually, Dave.
This is Zion Baptist Church. That is some significant damage right now on Berrytown Road in Franklin County. Pretty significant. Here's some more damage in that area, again, coming in from Franklin County right now. And that continues to be an issue. Jessica Elkins sending that picture in. If you're in a position to send us this stuff, do it on the free First Alert weather app. Do it only if you can do it safely, though. But you could see lots of damage out there. Let's go back to Chase. What do you got going on Max 2?
Yeah, the National Weather Service is saying that there was a TDS, which means a good chance that we saw a confirmed tornado on Spillway Road just to the north of Highway 25, approaching Highway 471 here in the metro. So that's what the National Weather Service chat is just reported as of 7:12. So that's here in the metro. This is just past the Dogwood area.
Let's take your map there and swing it a little bit further east, right over to Fannin, because that's where 471 intersects 25. You can see Spillway Road there, and that's right to the east of it. So right there, that's where we have a TDS, which is, go ahead and explain it.
Well, we did see the confirmed...
This is not tornado warning.
There's multiple things that the National Weather Service
look
will
up by
look for to try
Fannin.
to
You can see the debris up there.
Yeah, right by Fannin. You can kind of see exactly that little ball that we're looking at just to the south of 471 in this little area right here, just before North Shore Parkway, ahead of Spillway Road and 471. So this is the area that we're looking at right here. So this is a TDS is basically a radar confirmed tornado. It's not viewer confirmed, not spotter, so it's not necessarily confirmed on the ground by a person, but by the radar itself. So we are looking at the velocity showing us that there is an area, a little couplet behind it.
Pretty significant.
Pretty significant. You can easily tell that there is some sort of velocity signature there, and then there's that little debris signature that we're seeing just to the south of Fannin. So if you have friends or family that live in this little area, Fox Bay Drive, Ridge Circle, North Shore Parkway, Bay Point Drive, all the way up into Highway 25, Highway 471, Holly Bush Road, all the way over into, I can't remember if I said Bay Point Drive, Pine Ridge Parkway, Pine Ridge Circle. If you are, it's traveling off into the east-northeast, so it's traveling towards Holly Bush, again into Clark Creek, Disciple, Mount Helm Road, along Highway 25, south of Fannin. So please make sure you are taking this situation serious. If you have friends or family out there, give them a call, give them a heads up. If you are yourself are out there, you need to seek shelter immediately. This storm system just passed.
That would have come right over Castlewoods, too.
Right over
that's a big subdivision.
So that's a big area.
Yeah, so that's a big subdivision. And what I'm concerned about, you know, when you have an east-northeast, when it's east-northeast, that means that the debris has been carried east-northeast away from where the cell was. So the cell was very close to Lakeland Drive.
Yes.
And so we're going to get you some additional reports. Again, it's a fluid situation. There's a lot of information coming in all at once. We've got a lot of different data points that we're looking at. This is definitely a severe weather event that is performing at the top of its game. And we're very close to the radar too, so we can see a lot of stuff. By the way, we have a new tornado warning. Look at all these tornado warnings that are on the board. All right.
This is not tornado warning.
All of Smith County. most of Rankin County. A new tornado warning for Simpson and Smith counties. That goes until 8:15. A new tornado warning for Leake in Madison counties, and also Atala counties. That goes until 8:15. And then we have a new tornado warning that just popped on the screen. There we go. It is for Leake and Scott and parts of Rankin County. This is going to populate, there it goes, populate the east, there it goes. Look at this, all of Rankin County, all of Scott County, all of Leake County now, most of Holmes, most of Madison, and a good portion, Simpson I mentioned already, under a tornado warning. If we can go a little bit farther south, we've got additional tornado warnings that are going on. Can you take me a little bit farther south? Or where he's on max 2, isn't he? Is that what we're taking? I'm sorry. Can you take me a little farther south, please? And I just want to show, we have tornado warnings for southern Walthall and southern Pike County and eastern sections of Lawrence County. So it's an active night. Almost all these warnings go till about 8 o'clock, 8:15, something like that.
You're in.
With thunderstorms likely in the morning, then partly sunny with a slight chance of showers in the afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Sunday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-40s. West winds up to 10 miles an hour. Monday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-60s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Monday night, mostly clear in the evening, then partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers after midnight. Lows in the upper 40s. South winds up to 10 miles an hour. And now the extended forecast. Tuesday and Tuesday night, partly cloudy.
And Lake Church to be exact, and then areas in Brandon as well.
Yeah.
We are hearing reports of some damage.
All right, so we're going to get that confirmed. By the way, we are now talking about 49,000. We're pushing 50,000 people without power. 50,000 customers. That means there's more than that. Those are customers. So more than 50,000 customers are without power right now across central Mississippi, and those numbers, it appears to be increasing. So for the folks in the back, what I would like you to do is make sure that we get a crew out into Rankin County. Can you see me over there? We probably should get crews to Rankin County to get an extent. We probably already have crews out there in Rankin County. Get some extent on what the damage is across the area. So
the chat was saying that there was a confirmed tornado just before Pine Lake. So if we have a crew out into that Flowwood area, like the PDS that we were talking about just a little bit earlier, where it crossed into 471. And just over the Castlewood area would be a good shot. And again, apparently there could be still a storm system making its way through that portion of central Mississippi. So just to the east is what I was looking at now. It's still showing us, again, that strong line of thunderstorms pushing towards that Goshen Springs area, the Fannin area along Highway 471 and 25. The debris is not necessarily there. I'm not seeing anything on our debris tracker right now at this very moment. There could be that little notch just to
that's
the
the only thing that worries
me.
And you know, the thing we got to remember about this, and by the way, you guys have been tremendous. I just want to say this about picking out these little nodes, because this has been it's been a lot of stuff on the screen to watch here. But I want to tell you, the thing we've got to remember too on this stuff is it's there, and a lot of tornadoes bounce. They go up, they go down, they go up, they pulse. Okay, maybe bounce isn't the exact right terminology, but I'm trying to make it in layman's terms here. But the bottom line is tornadoes touch the ground, they're on the ground for a while, then they lift up. then they touch the ground again. And sometimes, you know how they say they can jump over a house, literally pass a house? Sometimes that's what's going on here. So what I would tell you is I am most concerned, only because of the information that I have at my disposal, I'm most concerned right in here. Would you agree, Ine? Just east of Goshen Springs, because this is the same place that came out of the southern edge of the res. That's where 471 kind of intersected with the Spillway Drive and Highway 25, Lakeland Drive. So if this is the area that I'm watching, are we on the same page, you think, or around Pisgah and Sand Hill?
Yes, I see where you're coming from for sure, since this one has a history, most likely of producing some damage, as well as we're just starting to hear after that storm passed through earlier on in the hour. So definitely where we see these multiple dips in the line around the Goshen Springs area, and this is in Rankin County, I believe we're still in Rankin County, then this is what we're going to be looking at. And if we look at velocity, things are getting kind of messy now, and it's especially since a lot of these storms that we are suspecting could be producing tornadoes, they're so close together. It's kind of hard to see clearly, but we definitely know that there's strong winds in the area. There's heavy rainfall, and we are seeing some unique kind of shapes coming up when it comes to looking at our reflectivity, which is basically just looking at the rain, the shape of the storms. So that area, that is definitely something that we want to watch for rotation, and they're still under that tornado warning. This has been extended into the counties out towards the west as well. We're seeing that out towards the east, rather. We're seeing that into Scott, into Leake counties. They have these tornado warnings in effect. So pretty much the entire area pretty much has seen a tornado warning at some point in the night, it seems like, and those are now going to be moving into areas, Carthage, coming up within the next hour, and just south of Kosciuszko, all the way up there is where we are seeing the storm start to move in right now. But for now, pretty much everyone, like we were saying, I-55 and east, that's where we are now seeing the risk for the tornadoes, and that goes for almost the entire area from Attala all the way down towards Pike County. We have that line of these tornado warnings that we need to be keeping an eye on, as this line has multiple areas of circulation embedded within it, and things are changing quickly from scan to scan. Dave was touching on that earlier. Tornadoes, especially in these kind of systems that are so fast moving, they can kind of pick up and then touch back down and then pick back up very quickly, pretty much from scan to scan. So it can be hard to see and hard to tell, at least based on radar, what exactly is taking place at the time. So we are just going to have to, it'll definitely be interesting to see how the surveys turn out.
So we're getting damage reports. We're getting more damage reports from Rankin County right now. All right, the Bell Grove community, apparently someone may be trapped. All right, so there's police responding to that. It is an active night right now in Rankin County. Let's share some good news with folks for a second. If we can, go to a bigger view of the radar, and at least I can break it down so you can get an idea. First off, all of the weather is now shifting east of I-55, the bad weather, the really bad stuff. Now, I'm telling you, if you're anywhere on the screen, don't travel right now. Just stay put, just stay where you are, because anywhere west of I-55, it's still coming down, and there's a lot of rain, and there's no way that they could have gotten all the roads already and cleared them up if they have any problems. So just stay put, stay tight for a little bit. All right, if you're along Interstate 55, except right there in Macomb, the weather is improving, but you're in the bad weather right now. East of I-55, you've got another hour. All right, that's pretty much the worst of it. Another hour or so until this moves on through. Can we update the tornado watch map? Because there's some good news in there too. We have had some places taken out of the tornado watch, and that would be Sharkey, Issaquena, Warren, Claiborne, also Jefferson and Adams counties out of the tornado watch. The tornado watch is still in effect for Metro Jackson and many areas until 9 o'clock this evening, and that continues off to the east. I suspect that this tornado watch will get dropped for much of the area within about an hour if it's just not allowed to expire at 9 p.m. But we're moving in the right direction. So I just want folks, there's a lot of storm anxiety today over this, because this has been a much anticipated storm system. So right now, I just want you to feel better that if you're along Interstate 55 or westward, the worst of the weather has already hit you. If you're east of I-55 and you have not encountered the weather yet, it's going to be real bad for about 20 minutes, and then it will move away. But if you're right along I-55, you got to give it a little more time. It's going to take time before this weather moves on out, but things are improving. Specifically, City of Jackson, all right, specifically City of Jackson, Right now, the worst of the weather has moved out of the city of Jackson and Hinds County, but in eastern Rankin, eastern Madison, Leake, Atala, as well as Scott, Smith, and Simpson counties, and Jefferson Davis counties, and Walthall, it's going to continue until another half hour or an hour tops, the way things are moving. Everything's moving from west to east.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the more clear signatures of velocity that I'm looking at right now is just to the northeast of Mendenhall along Highway 13 in that McGee area as well. So we have a couple little areas that we're still tracking for some very strong thunderstorms to roll through our forecast into the rest of the
This is a tornado warning.
into much of downtown, the Brandon area, Flowood, Ridgeland, Madison, Goshen Springs. You're looking good now. But again, just off to the east, Pelahatchie, if you're in Morton along Highway 13, over into Highway 43, Highway 481, into Polkville, Daniel, Puckett, especially into Highway 541, just to the east of Mendenhall. That is an area that you're going to be wanting to closely monitor. You can see that little notch that we're seeing just off to the northeast, south of Puckett. Again, that looks to be one of the more clear areas of rotation that we're really seeing with some of these cells. Same thing down near Tylertown as well. We look off into Tylertown, and again, there are a couple little areas further off to the south that we see the more clear and defined rotation, I believe along Highway 527. And again, if you live off to the east into the south at Tylertown, you need to be on high alert. Into the area just into Tylertown, you're going to be running into some very strong winds associated with this storm system. Same thing for much of this line here in central Mississippi. So again, I think that the only area that I'm really seeing where we're seeing that more clear defined cell of just rotation. There's a couple up near the north, near Holmes Community College, Newport into Durant, where you're rolling into a couple more areas of some rotation, but the clearest one is definitely near that Mendenhall area. What do y'all think?
I agree with you. I want to pay a little attention to Walthall County too for a second. If we go down to Tylertown, because down there in Tylertown, we've got a storm approaching. You're under a tornado warning in Tylertown. You're also under a tornado warning that is now in effect for Jefferson Davis County. We'll go to that in a moment. But Tylertown, there's a storm approaching. Look at that node just to the south of town. Something to watch. It's going to be moving over. You're going to have some very gusty winds here before long. If you don't mind, if you can check the weather observation, Ine, for Macomb. Just curious what the storms did around Macomb here in the last few minutes. But that storm is now encroaching on Tylertown, Knoxo, Dexter, and Kirkland. This storm is approaching, and you have a tornado warning currently in effect for your area. I also noticed that they now just put a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Pike and Walthall counties, and that goes until 8:15 this evening. So we're starting to see some of these warnings a little bit less severe, if you will. If we can go to Jefferson Davis County, a little bit farther north by Collins and over there by Monticello in between, you'll be able to see you now have a tornado warning that is in effect until 8:30. This is for Prentiss, Bassfield, over through about Lone Star and the Carson community. Just about all of really Jefferson Davis County under a tornado warning now until 8:30. That line of storms is moving in from the west, and you could see a little bit of that inflow outflow right just south of Prentiss. That is approaching town from the southwest, and that's going to sweep across Prentiss and head towards Mount Carmel and then Lone Star in the next 10 minutes. So a dangerous storm developing there as well. We are watching what's going on in Tylertown. We're watching what's going on in Prentiss right now as the leading edge of this weather is now overtaking the area. And you could see a big node just sticks out there around Bassfield, doesn't it? Talking to you, Ine, at this point.
For sure.
I mean, that definitely is something interesting to watch.
We're not seeing much as far as rotation goes, particularly lining up with that, and that's a good sign when that just shows that there's less organization with this. But we definitely are seeing a lot of wind going on and the potential for some rotation. But thankfully, what would be a velocity couplet is far behind what we're looking at showing up on the radar. So at the moment, to me, that looks like heavy rainfall. But I'm not necessarily concerned about a tornado with that at the moment. But of course, things are all subject to change as we head into this environment that we've had this evening. We've been talking about that for a long time. Things change. Things are changing quickly, especially from scan to scan. Now it looks like a little bit more impressive now to the east of Oakville. There's not much here in this area. It seems to be very rural. And then if I go back to radar, it's not lining up perfectly. It looks like the heaviest precipitation is ahead of that rotation.
Let's go to Simpson, Smith, and Scott counties right now. And this is where we still have tornado warnings in effect. This includes McGee, which you're getting into the bad weather right now. And then Raleigh, you're about to get into the bad weather. And this is the leading edge of that line. And then we follow it up to about Pelahatchie. And let's talk about what's going on, what you're seeing here on the screen between those places.
So we're talking about all the way up to Pelahatchie.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that stands out to be the most instantly would be this around Puckett. So I'm going to go storm relative velocity on that, and that seems definitely closer than what we were looking at further south. So this is an area of concern, definitely in my opinion, where we have we see the inflow and outflow interaction, those winds, we're getting to those pinks pretty strong over there, and then we look back, that's lined up with what we would expect for that area, for that rotation. And then further north as well, approaching the Pelahatchie area, we don't see as many areas trying to poke out of the line at this point in time, but I'm going to go ahead and look at that velocity anyway. Nothing's really standing out to me on this image right now.
That's good, because compared to where we were just a half hour ago, that's stuff that was just north of Pelahatchie, northwest of Pelahatchie, yeah.
This is interesting. Let's look at what this looks like on the radar. That'll be north of Leesburg.
Yeah, this is interesting right here, isn't it?
Yes.
And look at that.
And that lines up perfectly.
Yeah. So this is going to be getting close to Lena and Ludlow, 483, Highway 13 in Forkville in the next few minutes. That's a pretty intense cell right now. And that is the same cell that came back here, all right, from 471 and 25 and the Spillway Road. So that is matching up. It's the same cell pretty much that we've been talking about here for the past hour.
Let's check that debris signature, since thankfully we're not seeing much. It looks a little bit scattered all over the place.
Just stood out of the way for a little bit. But I wonder if that was the debris sig there, but it was just a very low debris signature. Again, this is the one that has a history of damage. That's the particular cell that has a history of producing damage out there. So we've got these cells that are still going out there. They're still taking advantage of the heat and the atmosphere, regardless that the sun set 2 hours ago. This is still tapping into all that energy, rich energy, and there you go. It just moved out a little bit more. I think there's a little gap in data, but it'll fill in here in a moment. There it goes, just filled in. And you can see that this particular cell is moving quickly. I think there's a little bit of some good luck in this.
This is a tornado warning.
Yes.
That even when these tornadoes are trying to form, they're getting pushed. They're getting kicked, if you will. And in some of these storm systems, we've seen this before, folks, where, think of it this way, the feet are getting kicked out faster than the body. And so when that happens sometimes is the storm, even though it's vicious, okay, in the way it's coming in, it's getting its feet kicked out, and so the storm's kind of collapsing and falling backwards. And that may be what is happening a little bit on some of these storms, that the drier or cooler air, I should say, is rushing in quicker, maybe trying to outrun the storms. But these are very efficient storms, in my opinion, because they've been really reaching their limits. We had obviously earlier in the isolated discrete cells, we had those were long tracking for a while. And I were on the air talking about those originally, what, about 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago?
That would have been just before 3.
Yeah, so about 5 hours ago, we were on the air talking about that. What month is this? Okay.
It's December.
It's December. Okay, just making sure. I didn't want to miss New Year's. I didn't know if that happened already or not. But the bottom line is, all of this stuff is shifting eastward now, and it's our easternmost counties that are under the gun. Tornado warnings lining up here, from Kosciuszko to Carthage to Forest and Morton to Raleigh to McGee to Prentice, and then over to the Monticello area. Tornado warnings in effect. But the worst of the weather, I'll tell you where the worst of the weather is going to happen here in the next few minutes. Kosciuszko, Carthage, Forest, Raleigh. That's where you're going to get the worst of the weather here in the next 20 to 30 minutes, because the leading edge of this line is moving eastward. Go a little bit further south, if you will. Let's go back to Walthall County. I want to check into my friends here in Walthall. And you can see Tylertown's now in the thick of it, in the heaviest of the weather, but in the next 10-15 minutes, that heavy weather will move on out and the weather will improve. You still have a severe thunderstorm warning. You still have a tornado warning. That tornado warning will go away very soon for Tylertown, but eastern sections of Walthall County, Dexter, Salem, and over to almost state line Louisiana, you're still going to be under a tornado warning until this little node, right, moves east and north of Highway 48. You can see it here, make out the outline of it at least, as it's been active near the Tylertown area. So a lot of things happening this evening. You're taking a look now at the debris.
Thankfully, not much showing up over there, but we do have a little bit of a couplet it looks like.
Right there on 48.
Yes.
And you know what's interesting is if you've been watching us this afternoon and this evening, the debris, when we show you that debris field, we saw some pretty solid debris ball signatures on a couple of these storms. So they really stood out. So when we start seeing things that don't necessarily line up, we don't want to alarm you, okay? That's not our job. We're not going to overhype something. If we see something definitive, yeah, we're going to call it. But if it's a borderline situation, we're going to err on the side of caution, because a lot of times you're just looking at noise, and we're not going to interpret everything that we see as a tornado and everything that we see as debris. So just want to be clear on our rules of engagement when it comes to this stuff. But most of the heavy weather is now pushing into our easternmost counties. So let's go show the folks the tornado watch map. Again, this is where we start sharing good news as we get it. And Hinds County is no longer under a tornado watch. Copiah County, you've been cleared too. You're cleared in Lincoln County and now Yazoo County and Humphreys County out of the tornado watch. So we're seeing more of these counties taken out of the watch, and that means the severe weather threat is over with. So if you live in Jackson, you're done with the severe weather. Vicksburg, Yazoo City, Belzona, Rolling Fork, Natchez. Also, we're looking at Port Gibson, Brookhaven, Meade, Roxy. You've had your fill of severe weather today, right? I mean, Franklin County's had enough. So these areas are now starting to clear up considerably as weather conditions are improving out there. Been checking power outages. I don't know if you've seen the latest numbers, Chase, but we were at about 50,000 not too long ago, and we continue to basically see very large numbers of people without power. Just a reminder, when there's tornado warnings in effect, we're on our free First Alert weather app. We're streaming these live broadcasts to you. So if you're crouched down, if you're huddled away, or even if you're at a safe spot, but the power's out, you can still watch our coverage to know when it's safe to travel and when it's safe to go out there and do things. So as far as that's concerned, we want you to know that no power, no problem. We're still here for you, and we're still able to talk to you through the phone or your tablet should you have cellular access. So this is what's going on right now. Along I-55 and west, you're good. All right. It's pouring down rain still. It's kind of breezy out there, but the severe threat is over with. I would still caution you, don't go out. It's dark. All right. And a lot of roads have not been able to get adequately cleaned up. I was very impressed that they did as much as they did in Franklin County this afternoon with the actual storms that moved in so quickly. They really responded to that quick. But as far as our easternmost counties, you're still under the gun. Atala, Leake, Scott, as well as Smith, Jefferson, Davis, and Walthall counties, you still have tornado warnings currently in effect. They go to about 8, 8:15, 8:30 respectively, and that's going to continue. Anything else that you're noticing, guys?
There are two little areas that I think that we should take another look at. Just to the south of Lena, this is the storm that we talked about moving through the Flowood area back into some portions here in the metro. It's just now to the west of Walnut Grove. So we're going to be looking at it just to the south of Lena. It's showing a pretty tight velocity couplet here in central Mississippi. Here, I got you. Yeah, there you go. Right there. Right there is where we're looking at a very, I think that we're seeing a very strong velocity couplet right just outside of the Lena area. So if you're traveling along Highway 13, or if you live along Highway 13, Tuscaloosa, you're going to be looking at a very, very capable storm moving through your area. I don't want to say that it's capable of producing the tornado, but we know its history. We've seen it. The correlation coefficient that's showing us the debris, not necessarily there right now, but again, it does have the strength. And I think that regardless, you're looking at very strong winds. The other area that I've been tracking over here is just to the east of Puckett. So just a little bit south of this storm, just to the east is the east of Puckett area into Polkville, a little bit more to the south. There you go. The most recent scan might not catch it here, but again, we're looking at a very tight velocity couplet just to the south and really to the east of Daniel now. So we saw a pretty strong couplet here just a little bit ago, and I'm not sure if it's still there with the most recent scans, but we've been keeping a close eye on it here. Go a little bit more to the south. There you go. See, just to the south of the Puckett, you see that little bit of a red mates in with that green there. That's what I was looking at a little bit earlier. It's more broadened out now, thankfully. But again, it's lining up to be with that severe thunderstorm warning as well as with that tornado warning still in that area. So these storms are still capable of producing quick spin-up tornadoes across not just that line of storms, but across the whole line as a whole. That's why we have those tornado warnings that have been issued for, again, most of central eastern Mississippi. It goes for Forest, Raleigh, stretching all the way down to Tylertown. Thankfully, we've seen a lot more clearing here in the metro and for areas along I-55 and to the west. But again, we're going to be closely monitoring this storm system as it moves through eastern Mississippi. So if you have any friends or family in the Meridian area, Hattiesburg, or areas that'll live or know to be around that I-59 corridor, give them a call, give them a heads up that this is heading their direction.
I feel bad for them, but I'm glad we're not going to be dealing with an overnight situation around here. Those are always the worst when you deal with these things in the middle of the night. This is all going to be done within an hour for our viewing area. I do want to tell you we have a new tornado warning that just went into effect for northern Atala County, Kosciusko northward. But this cell is actually 10 miles north of Kosciusko. There's some pretty nasty cells that are about to move into Kosciusko. All right, but the actual tornado warning that's prompting the one for northern Atala County is actually this one right here. It is north of Kosciusko, but there's a bad cell about to move into Kosciusko right now from the west. This is what we're looking at. This is Atala County here. You're covered up by tornado warnings right now. It's not funny, but I'm just saying there's so many overlapping warnings here on the screen to look at. But there's Kosciusko in the middle of your screen, and then this is the worst of the weather that is sweeping in from the west and the north. This is going northeastward, so it'll be out of our viewing area, and it will be out of Atala County here in the next 20 minutes. But then we've got this other cell that is located very close to Kosciusko, and you're about to get into the bad weather now. It's moving in as we speak, and it's going to continue for the next 20 minutes or so. Very heavy rain and strong gusty winds will keep blowing around the region. So that's the story there. Heavy rain continuing to spread across the area. Anae is on the case, and she's checking out wind fields near McVille on Highway 43 south of town, and Dossville and other places like that. I'm going to step off screen just for a second, and you can see that that's where we're starting to get some of the worst weather, with the winds really starting to pick up.
Yeah, Dave, we also have a couple reports here in the National Weather Service chat saying Mendenhall has reports of a lot of damage. Now, we're not necessarily clear if that's tornadic damage or just strong winds moving through the area. Both were at play in that little area where we did have the chance to see a quick spin-up tornado, as well as the fact that that main line did have some very damaging winds associated with it. So as it tracks off to the east, we're still looking for that storm system that moved through the Mendenhall and McGee area to still track through Raleigh and Collins and back into Forest, down near the south near Tylertown, as it makes its way off to the east. But that's thankfully just the worst of it. Off to the west, very quiet, but still, now that the storms have gone through, we're getting a lot of those reports of damages. So be very cautious as you are going forward through the rest of your night. Even though that the storms have already passed through, we're still getting a lot of those damage reports coming in. If you can get those damage reports in, do not put yourself in a dangerous situation in any way to get any report in. No report is of that big of a concern that you should risk your life for it. So just be very cautious through the rest of the night tonight. If there are downed power lines, do not go anywhere near them. Do not leave your house as you are heading on out into the night tonight. So as you are going forward, be very cautious. There are still multiple areas off into the east of that Mendenhall area, that storm system that rolled through, that where we saw that little tight velocity couplet that we were just talking about to the north and to the east of Puckett. It's heading towards areas along Highway 35, south of Forest, into Raleigh. We're still talking about that one little notch that did bring that tornado damage to us here in the metro over near Dogwood and over near Pine Lake into portions here in the metro. Again, that's still tracking off to the north and to the east, and it's still showing a bit of a velocity couplet, to be honest with you. It's not looking as defined on the radar, thankfully, but still, we're looking at that little area of the red and green just to the north of Fortville, south of Lena. So again, if you are heading on out, or if you are planning to travel at all, just cancel that. No matter where you are east of I-55. If you're west of I-55, I would still travel with caution. I'd still hunker down for just the rest of the night tonight with this storm system rolling through. We have seen a lot of damage reports coming in, so please be very cautious. And of course, we'll work on getting all those damage reports coming in, but please be very safe through the rest of the night tonight.
And that's the real story right now. I just wanted to go over some wind gusts that I've been getting from parts of the area. The winds gusted to 40 miles per hour. At least these have been the reports in Rankin County. I wouldn't be surprised if those numbers are revised upward and it was worse, especially if we have a confirmed tornado when it's all said and done in the northern part of Rankin County. Jackson, it looks like winds gusted to 52 miles per hour. It looks like winds gusted to 53 miles per hour in Pike County. So these are some of the reports coming in. These are measured reports. Keep in mind, there are not weather stations everywhere. There's, we don't have wind machines and anemometers, that's what they're technically called, all over the place to measure the wind. But these are some of the confirmed reports that we've got in. So right now, we are watching what's going on. And again, Chase, if you would keep checking that chat just for the time being. We're at 66,000 customers now without power. 66,000 customers without power statewide. The vast majority of them are here in central Mississippi. Looks like the worst of the weather came right through the center part of our state, through really the middle section and the south central section of Mississippi right now, and it is still ongoing in our easternmost counties. Morton, you're in the thick of it. Let's give some love to Scott County for a second here and show them what's going on, because we are watching storms now on the north and south side of Forest, but this line of storms will be moving across Scott County here within the next few minutes. This is one that has basically historically been producing tornadic damage, or at least wind damage, across Rankin County, and that's why you have this tornado warning in effect for Scott County right now. As you can see, the storm is still moving east, but the elements are moving northeast in it. And again, there's a pretty good fetch of southeasterly winds out ahead of this all, and it's all kind of coming together and sweeping eastward and northeastward as the line moves on through. So that's really the story there. Eastern counties are seeing the worst weather right now, whereas the metro area, things are improving dramatically. It's still raining, but we're not looking at the severe weather anymore. So right now we're at Highway 35. That's the boundary between the good weather and the bad weather. And the bad weather is moving in right now from the west. It's going to overtake these counties very soon. Carthage, you're in the same boat. All of Lee County under a tornado warning right now. Atala County, they're peeling back these warnings a little bit. In fact, Holmes County, you're out of the tornado warnings now. Madison County, you're out of the tornado warnings as well. So we're starting to see some relief here, and it's just going over to regular rain. We call it stratiform rain in places like Lexington and Pickens and Canton and Madison and Ridgeland, where it's just lingering rain that's going to go on for a while behind this storm. But the front is pushing everything off to the east. I can't tell you how nice tomorrow is going to be. Not that it's going to take much to top today, right? Because today was not that great. Tomorrow's going to be a real pretty day out there. Hopefully it's a day where you can relax, but for a lot of folks, I'm afraid it's going to be a day where they're going to be cleaning up, because there's going to be quite a bit of cleanup to do. We've got lots of damage reports coming in. Rankin County, we've got reports now coming in from Simpson County. We have reports coming in from Lincoln as well as Franklin County. So this is a storm that has impacted a lot of people across central Mississippi. And at one point we had anywhere from 250,000 to 500,000 people that were under a tornado warning. So that's something you just don't see very often. A large portion of the population of Mississippi was under a tornado warning at the same time this afternoon and this evening. And this is what's going on right now. Let's go to the tornado watch map again, if you don't mind. I just want to show folks we're getting better. It's starting to improve. If you're in the yellow shaded area, you're under a tornado watch, especially for Atala, Leake, Scott, Smith, Simpson, Jefferson Davis, and Walthall counties. I didn't mention the other counties because you're going to be lifted out of this very soon. The tornado watch means a tornado is possible in the following conditions, but you're going to be moved out of this very soon. All right, so the weather is improving, but you just got to be a little more patient. I know that doesn't mean much for folks that are living in our easternmost counties here. This is where the bad weather is hanging on and holding on, but this will be spreading eastward into the eastern part of the state, as Chase was saying, and into western Alabama as we go through the overnight hours. We have had some damage reports coming in. I don't know if we have that video ready in the back, any of the video ready to send, or maybe we can check in with Nathan Lee in our storm tracker just to get a perspective as to where he is right now, but just to get an idea as to what's going on with this weather. But at the present time, much of the activity is now shifting into the eastern part of the state. Let's go back to regular radar if we can on this particular view. And just to be able to show folks what's going on.
1 second.
Yeah, no problem. There we go. And you can see that most of the weather is, again, shifting off to the east. So a lot of this weather is just shifting eastward. And you can see that Jefferson Davis County, the weather's improving. Still kind of rough in Smith County. I would assume that Simpson, you're going to be taken out of it in the near future. And yeah, you could just hit that button in the future and make your life a lot easier. So as opposed to resetting it every time. And then you can see the rain will keep moving eastward out of our area within the next half hour or so. So I'm thinking by 8:30 or maybe sooner, most of these warnings that you see on your screen will be gone, and that's certainly some good news. But on the backside of it, it's going to keep raining for a while, and it's going to keep raining for much of the next couple of hours, probably until about midnight before all this weather clears on out of here. Still seeing a lot of lightning in the sky. This is not weather I would want to be traveling outside or really doing anything outside in, but this is where we have tornado warnings currently for Atala, Leake, Scott, Smith, and then Jefferson Davis counties, as well as parts of Walthall County. Let's go a little bit farther south. Just want to show what's going on now. And Walthall, it's just in the extreme southeastern corner of Walthall County now. Tylertown, you no longer have a tornado warning in effect. You still have heavy rain around, but you could see there's still this little notch in there, that's just lifted out of there. It's now, and that's Marion County, but it's really just close to Highway 48 near the Salem community.
Right, and thankfully this is all starting to move out of our viewing area as we are seeing more of our counties in the clear from this very long severe weather event that we have. So like we said earlier, in Tylertown, you're in the clear from that, and Dexter, it's starting to move out of the area right now as we speak. In fact, the circulation, that area of note, that is already out to your east, and that is moving into parts of Marion County right now. So now I'm just going to kind of drift up the line, just looking for anything of interest, particularly in our area, maybe here just to the west of Taylorsville. Need to go back to radar, and it looks like it's not lining up. That's one good thing as this line pushes towards the east. To me, it seems like it's less organized, definitely, than it was an hour ago or 2 hours ago. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me on that?
Absolutely.
Dave?
I
Definitely.
mean, you know, I'm still a little concerned for some of these spots like Silverina. You've had a history of a tornado that hit there a while back. There was an old gas station that was damaged a couple years back now, and so you've got a history of tornadoes. You start getting up towards Clear Springs, you're really in the woods up here. It's the Bienville State Forest. So you're getting into more rural spots, but a lot of folks live in Homewood. A lot of folks live in the Lake community, a nice community right there in eastern Scott County. And if you're in the community of Lake, this weather hasn't even reached you yet. All right, but you've got plenty of time to get ready for it. And I would tell you right now, if you live in Lake, be careful, because this storm is coming in from the west, and there's some winds over 50 miles per hour in it that are going to be coming in and slamming across your area very soon. We have team coverage for you folks. Okay, we involve everybody we can here in the station when it comes to our severe weather coverage here with WLBT First Alert Weather. Maggie Wade joins us right now. She's got some new information on damage that took place a short time ago in Rankin County. Good evening, Maggie.
Yes, Dave, good evening, and we thank our First Alert Weather team for staying on top of the system. Right now, we have joining us TJ PQ. He's a lieutenant with the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. Thank you so much for being with us. And you've had to deal with quite a bit of damage trying to get to a house where two people were trapped. Can you tell us about that, please?
It took me quite a while to get there to the house. That was both houses that were damaged. Spillway Road between Highway 471 and the Reservoir Fire Department Station 1 is completely shut down with power lines, power poles, trees. It is an absolute mess. Highway 471 coming out of Brandon into the Langford community, there was straight line winds and a whole bunch of debris on that highway too. So it took me longer to get to Belgrove from Brandon normally what it should have, and whatever came through this part of the county was way more than a thunderstorm from what I can see.
Now, can you tell us about what happened in the Belgrove neighborhood? That's where you are now. I think this is Oak Grove Circle, where two people, I know, according to the information we have, one woman has already, you've been able to rescue her and get her out of the house, but there was a man also in that house.
Yeah, two houses were damaged by the one tree. Two houses were damaged by one tree. They were able to get the lady out first, and when the fire department showed up to assist my deputies, they were able to get the man who was trapped upstairs. Were able to get him out, and they both were able to receive medical attention.
Can you tell us about the extent of their injuries? Are they headed to a hospital at this point?
That I do not know firsthand, but I do know that They're alive and well. Pafford Ambulance Service just left here, so if they are headed to the hospital, that is unclear right now.
Lieutenant PQ, can you tell us, one of the main things that you need people to do right now is not to sightsee, not to get out. It makes it dangerous for the victims who are involved in these storms, people who are trying to assess damage, as well as our first responders. So the best advice is to stay out of the area if at all possible.
That's correct. Right now, we want everybody to stay off the roadways as best as possible. I know people want to make sure their family members are safe, but if you can, contact them or contact the sheriff's department or your local agency to make welfare phone calls to them to make sure they're okay. But right now, all of our main roads are a mess. So if everybody could just stay home at the time being until we get everything cleared up.
We're going to go back to Dave, but before we do, any other reports of any other injuries in Rankin County from this system that went through?
No reported injuries thus far. Just right now, just a lot of storm damage, a lot of trees down.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, we've been talking with Lieutenant TJ PQ with the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. And again, we did have a house where a gentleman and his wife were trapped. They were able to get both of them out. And there's lots of damage, trees down, power lines. So again, stay out of that area if at all possible. Dave, let's go back to you.
All right, we're continuing to monitor what's going on with this. Just a couple things I'm double checking here on my screen. We have a new tornado warning that's going into effect right now. This is going to be for Scott County, and this is just really catching the eastern edge of Scott County. The way this looks, kind of a weird overlay, but this is the new tornado warning that just went into effect. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. All right, new tornado warning, and this is for Scott and Smith counties, and this goes until 9 o'clock. So it is right here capturing the eastern part of the counties. Probably that'll be clipped a little bit sooner than later because it's really the extreme eastern part of those counties. But Leake and Scott County until 10,000 people. Let's go farther south here. Just want to analyze what's going on with these storms. And you can see Smith County, Raleigh, the worst of the weather has now shifted east. Lorena, it shifted east as well, but you could see heavy weather over Pineville. That is Highway 501, and that is shifting eastward out of our area. Going farther south now, that's a pretty good couplet, isn't it? Just east of Burns?
Yes, it seems like.
And north of Raleigh.
Yes.
That's what I was just looking at.
That's the one that's precipitated this new warning. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's headed for Clear Springs and Bartlett, but this is going to be more of an issue probably when it gets towards Newton, Baxter, and Montrose. So that's where the line of storms is.
Peek at the debris real quick, and there's nothing. I didn't really expect to see much, but just in case, since we have that strong velocity return over there. Yeah.
And then if we can, let's go to Walthall County for a second. We have a new tornado warning that was just issued for parts of Walthall County, and that would be the extreme southeastern corner there. The rest of Walthall County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Tylertown. But this is interesting. This is a brand new tornado warning that was just issued. We were here, 10 minutes ago talking about this part of Walthall County, and we were watching this cell that lifted out of the county, and now there's another one that kind of just lifted in. So it's a very odd shaped tornado warning, if I say so myself. It stretches over through about Poplarville in the southeast part of Mississippi. But this is where we're watching right now, a potential tornado, and there is a tornado warning in effect for that area as well. So that's going to go until, let me just double check the timing here. That goes until 8:45. I have a suspicion that that'll be expired before then. And you can see the radar is updating very quickly. A lot of this action is changing quickly. It's a fast moving system at this point, moving 50 to 60 miles per hour from west to east. So even when we're seeing some of these tornadoes popping up, the line of storms is overpowering all of it, and it's pushing it very fast and very far off to the east. So a lot of this is winding up in Marion County. It's going to be a problem for Columbia, moving out of our actual viewing area, but still something we're paying very close attention to as there's some rough weather that continues. Even Tylertown, right now you're still looking at moderate to heavy rain, but I will tell you the worst of the severe threat has moved out of Tylertown. You're still in a place where I would not be traveling, though I would avoid travel at all costs right now, just because you don't want to be out in this mess. I do feel, as we've been saying, for a few days now, by 9 o'clock tonight, I think a lot of this weather's out of here, and I still stand by that at this point. Let's go back farther north now and show you where the bad weather's taking place and where the bad weather isn't. So, for instance, the bad weather is now exiting Jefferson Davis counties. Monticello, it just rained for you. Simpson County, McGee, you're under a tornado warning. That will be gone very soon for you because the cell has moved eastward. So things are going to be improving dramatically here on the board. In Scott County, the worst of the weather is about to exit the county. So all of this weather is about to move out of here very quickly. Go farther north into Leake County. In the eastern part of Leake County, we continue to watch these storms move eastward. And then in Atala County, all of the bad weather has shifted east of Kosciuszko. So we're now talking about most of our major towns.
This is a tornado warning.
Good evening, welcome back to Channel 1 Atlanta's continuing coverage of severe weather. I'm David Dutton from the Channel 1 Atlanta Command Center here in Atlanta. We have reports of at least one person confirmed dead in Texas today as a result of a deadly tornado outbreak that has occurred across the southeast on this Saturday. We have reports of numerous trees and power lines down all across Mississippi, and right now there are many tornado warnings in effect for Mississippi as the storms continue to plow further east and expected to be here in Atlanta around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Maybe not as powerful, but still expecting very heavy rain, strong winds, and at least an isolated tornado or two. So it's something that to keep monitoring throughout the evening, overnight, and into early Sunday, and we'll be here until the threat has passed, covering several areas across the southeast. Right now, our live team coverage continues right now as we go back to station WLBT in Jackson, Mississippi, and later we'll maybe going to New Orleans or Birmingham as our coverage continues. Stay with us throughout the night.
And that's good. We're getting a lot of damage reports coming in still about trees down here in Flowood, trees down across just much of the area, all because of either damaging winds or the isolated tornadoes that we've seen spin up, either quick spin ups or that long range or that longer tornado earlier into this morning. Or I say this morning, it feels like that we've been here since morning, but again,
some of us have.
Yeah, some of us have. Yeah. And again, we are just going to be seeing the storm system track off to the east as we get going through the rest of the night tonight. A lot of us, and it's very nice for me to say, a lot of us are in the all clear. We are just going to be looking at some showers and storms still lingering on the back end of everything. Even if you're in Forest or Carthage, even into Raleigh, still looking at just a couple thunderstorms and some heavy rain settling in. But again, that storm system will make its way off to the east. And once it does, we're all looking at that severe threat really diminishing. A lot of the existing tornado warnings into Scott Smith and Leake County, again, are going to be pretty much canceled here in the next little bit. They just canceled the tornado warning for Madison, for Atala, and to Leake, and to Rankin as well. So that is that's good. We're going to see these ones on the back end of the line be canceled here soon or left to expire. So that's the good thing. We're nearing the end of this weather event here pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just waiting for these warnings to expire, and then our coverage will go off air and we'll go back to regular programming. But I do want to let you know that we are still out there covering all of this damage that has taken place in many places across central Mississippi, and we're going to continue to follow all those leads. We also appreciate all of you sending in pictures, sending in videos on our free First Alert weather app. All of that is very valuable information that we can share, and we just want to encourage you, don't put yourself in danger doing it. Do we have that drone video that we could show again that was taken earlier this afternoon? Because that was just really a compelling video and really interesting to show folks. That is of the actual tornado when it was crossing Highway 84 in Lincoln County. This isn't the drone video, but we'll take this video anyway. This is Crashasha Torrance took this video of the storm crossing Highway 84 earlier on this afternoon. And it was kind of an interesting perspective through the windshield there. But I know we've got some drone video. There we go. Hunter McDowell put his drone up. This is Highway 84 west of Brookhaven. And isn't that something? That's just beautiful. Beautiful from this view. Not beautiful if you're under it, but just an incredible view of nature. That you can see from a distance. And what kills me is the visibility. It was really good to see how far you could see this thing.
Yeah, earlier in the day especially.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see a drone video because we'd much rather have a little robot or a little drone up there out there putting itself at risk than a viewer. So it's definitely be sure to stay safe if you are going out to get any pictures. Don't go out with the specific goal of getting pictures, especially in those areas that have already seen damage, especially in places like Rankin County, likely parts of Franklin County. Don't go out right now because you're going to interfere with the I'm not going to say rescue. There's not many people, not many injuries, but with the recovery efforts, you're going to with the clearing of the emergency managers. So don't go out right now. But if you do happen to come across either some damage in your direct area, in your direct vicinity, or wherever you have to go, if you have to be out, then feel free to send that to us. Just stay safe.
I don't mind sharing this personal bit of information with you, but I've wanted to be a meteorologist my whole life. And I have never wanted to chase storms. That's just me. I've never wanted to get out there, and Nate's thinking, what's wrong with this guy? But I've never...
I don't want to do it either.
You don't want to do it either. You're happy.
Not here.
You know what? It's kind of okay in the studio with air conditioning or heat, depending on the situation, and we get to track it on the radar, but I've never had the inclination to want to be out there and get up close to these storms. So it's interesting for me when I can look at these pictures, when I can look at these videos, but because I'm in here, I'll probably never have the opportunity to really get up close to see any weather. And how ironic. This is the one place I've been where a tornado's passed right over me when I was on the air. This is before you two were working here. But we had a tornado pass over the station, and I was fortunate that nobody got hurt. And I've been in situations where the weather has been very bad and people have gotten hurt, but I've never witnessed I've witnessed a couple water spouts in my life, but that's it's really the worst of it. So we're hoping everybody's safe, but we like doing the job from in here where we can analyze all the data and put forecasts together and track these storms on the radar for you and let other folks that are out there that come across these pictures or videos, they send them to us at their own free will, and as long as they do it safely, hey, I'm all for it. But beyond that, you can see these tornado warnings are about to expire very soon. All of the storms are now jumping the border here of our viewing area, and they're moving out of the WLBT viewing area. So we're going to be saying goodbye to some of these storms now. I do want to let you know, Walthall County, you're no longer under a tornado warning. That is good news. So that's important to note. The severe weather has moved east of also Simpson and Smith counties. It'll be a very short time before they probably kill those warnings. And Scott, as well as Leake and Atala counties, the tornado warnings are also about to get canceled for those places as well. Some of them will expire within the next 5 minutes, but bottom line is we are now seeing all of this weather transition off to the east, and I would say by about 8:15, 8:20, most of the weather will be out of our area, except it still will be rainy. There still will be heavy rain across the area, across central and southwest Mississippi. We hope you have gotten through this storm system okay. We hope that you're safe. We do know there's a lot of people without power. We are right now broadcasting through our free First Alert weather app to give you the latest weather information. Chase, if you could check on those power outages for us. Yes. But we are right now broadcasting on Facebook as well. So we're finding all these different ways to get the information out, to get our broadcast out, so you're not left in the dark and you're not left without power. But if you do know anybody that is just sitting at home, the storm hasn't really really been detrimental to them. It's just been an inconvenience, and they need information. Make sure you let them know that we're still broadcasting for them to let them know that what's going on out there, so that they're not left in the dark and basically guessing what kind of weather is going on right now. You're watching these storms. They're moving out of our viewing area for the time being. If I can get you, maybe go back to regular radar just for a second, because I do notice that it looks like most of central Mississippi, at least for the time being, Ine, is just dealing with some moderate rain. That's the yellow color. But otherwise, the rest of the area, really not so much. It looks like it's just moderate to some heavy rain from time to time. And so what I'm noticing now is they've just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Laurel. Okay, and so as these storms are moving eastward, we'll see if they continue these tornado warnings into the eastern part of the state. It will be curious to me to see whether this line of storms turns into something worse or actually weakens. Like maybe it peaked right over us this evening or this afternoon. But the bottom line is we had a very vicious storm system come out of the southern plains that really wasn't there 12 hours ago. I mean, almost really wasn't there 12 hours ago, 18 hours ago if you want to be technical. And it really just blossomed today under all the right conditions. We had a lot of warm air, we had a lot of unstable air, and we had sunshine today, and it all kind of churned up the atmosphere. But this still could have been a lot worse. As bad as it is, I know you probably at home, and if you have damage, you may want to argue that point, but this could have been a lot worse. And these conditions are very random sometimes in how much damage they will produce. And, you know, sometimes it is literally one side of the street versus the other as to where these storms are located. But right now, we are seeing conditions improve dramatically. And you can see that while we have several counties that are still under tornado warnings, technically, the tornado threat has moved out of central Mississippi and continuing to move into the eastern parts of the state. So it's just a matter of time. I know a lot of these warnings are set to expire at around 8:15, so we'll see how many actually drop off the board here on their own versus ones that they actually pull themselves. But you could see that this activity is now moving eastward and translating more eastward as we go through the next couple of hours. Our weather will improve, but it's probably going to rain the rest of the evening across central Mississippi and across the southwestern portion of our state. We've had damage so far coming in from Rankin County. We've had damage reports coming in from Lincoln as well as Simpson counties, parts of Copiah as well. And we are working to get all of this stuff for you. So we'll have that for you tonight on WLBT News at 10. And of course on future newscasts tomorrow. Our first newscast starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we'll be getting a lot more information, especially with the first light of day tomorrow. I think we're going to be able to see a lot more and get you a lot more information on the storms that are out there. Let's go back to the tornado watch real quick. Just show folks where we still have the tornado watch, and then we'll come back over here for a second. You can see just about most areas now along I-55 westward are out of the tornado watch, and if you're not, almost everything that you see on the board here will get canceled very soon. This goes until 9 o'clock anyway, so it's not like it's going to be in effect all night, and we don't expect any more weather. This is it. What you see is what you get, and it's already come through, so it's now moving into the eastern part of the state. But let's go back to the other map you had up. And I just want to show you, we're coming up on 8:15 here, and a lot of these warnings may drop off the screen here in the next few seconds, and that will give us a little bit of a feel better moment, if you will, as the weather starts transitioning more into the eastern part of the state. So this is what we have right now, moderate rain. There we go. Most of the counties have dropped on off. We still have tornado warnings in effect right now for northern Attala and Jefferson Davis counties, but beyond that, the weather is improving. It looks like they added a tornado warning now for the Laurel area. So we're getting out of this. And if you guys could just keep me straight, make sure I'm not saying a tornado warning is a tornado warning without it being possibly a severe thunderstorm warning. But we still have tornado warnings in effect for Jefferson Davis County and for parts of Attala County, if I'm right.
Yeah. And again, you were asking about the amount of people that we have without power here in the state. Currently, out of the customers that are tracked, which is 1.3 million, almost 80,000 are without power here in central Mississippi. And a lot of it is further off to the south. So Claiborne, 2,500 people without it. And I think the county with the most is actually Wilkinson, with almost all their customers without power. 4,800 out of the 5,700 are without power. So 85% of that county. Simpson County, 50% of the customers are without power. And Franklin County, we have about almost 50% as well without power. A lot of places further to the south and along I-20 seem to be the hardest hit communities in regards to this, just by looking at what we're looking at here on our, it's hard to tell. I mean, oh, you actually have it pulled up. Perfect. I didn't even see. I was too busy looking at it on my screen. But yeah, you can see that areas south and along I-20 are actually seeing the more, where we saw the more severe storms roll through a lot of the area, where we saw the stronger winds and even the tornado risk highest. So that easily is correlated to the amount of power outages that we do have here in central Mississippi. And I expect to continue to see it really continue to go up as it moves through eastern Mississippi as well.
Right. So we're now talking about just a couple counties left that have tornado warnings in effect. That one's still active there in northern Attala County and Jefferson Davis counties. And go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to zoom in and see, because I have a suspicion that the actual tornadic part of the storm is out of our viewing area for even those counties. And it looks like in Attala, it's the stratiform rain that you were speaking of. This one, I think would likely expire very soon. Ackerman seems to be getting the heaviest of that. So it's moving on out of our area. And then farther south, I was checking out Jeff Davis as well. And it looks like the heaviest of the rainfall is definitely moving on out towards the east. I'm going to go back to velocity really quick just to make sure, and we do not have rotation left on in our area.
That's great. We're going to stay on until these warnings pop off the screen, okay, and then we're going to resume regularly scheduled programming. When we have a tornado warning in effect for our viewing area, we stay on the air just to let you know what's going on. But you can see that the worst of the weather has definitely moved out of the area now. We're just waiting for these warnings to officially expire or get canceled, and we suspect that's going to happen here any moment. But right now we're just dealing with moderate rain across most of the area. That's all that's left. If you're in eastern Mississippi, other stations are now covering your area and giving you the latest information vital to those communities. But here in central and southwest Mississippi, the worst of the severe weather outbreak has passed off to the east. Have you seen any additional reports, Chase, in our chats? We use a chat, folks, behind the scenes to talk to local emergency managers, talk with the National Weather Service, and see what's going on. And we get a lot of good inside information there and a lot of additional stuff, especially when some of these storms are forming.
A lot of them are just local storm reports regarding trees down, whether it be power outages, little tiny hail damage reports as well, or hail reported. Some roof damage in regards to the strong storms that have rolled through. So we've seen a lot of severe thunderstorm damages. So winds have caused quite a lot of damage. We have reports of multiple tornadoes throughout much of the night tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what the National Weather Service says in regards to the night that we've seen and the night that we're going to continue to see for eastern Mississippi and western Alabama when we get those reports in over the coming days and could be coming weeks.
But what about rainfall? I was looking at some of the rain gauges around. It would look like 1 or 2 inches of rain had fallen across parts of the area. I know those are what the official rain gauges had indicated, but this is what we use for Doppler radar estimates. And I see some yellow spots in there, and I don't want to assume that that's total rainfall, because sometimes hail gets mixed in here and it can push it up a little bit. So I'm just going to, how about this? I'm going to say 2 to 4 inches, especially in those green areas near Brookhaven. Okay, it looks like 2 to 4 inches, and everywhere else looks like 1 to 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches out there. But the vast majority of the area looks like most of the heavy stuff has moved on out. So we're going to continue to get moderate rain here, probably get another 1/4 inch before it's all said and done. Maybe an extra 1/2 inch of rain. Now, the way it's going to work tomorrow and this coming week, and we have the National Weather Service will probably dispatch survey teams. I'm saying that because they'll look at the damage reports tomorrow and see if there was significant damage and see if it warrants a survey. And they'll go out with drones and they'll go out with crews and they'll go and look at these areas and they'll measure the damage and they'll look at the damage. And if they see circulation patterns and if they see other criteria, they'll then rule it a tornado. And then they'll decide to what extent was this tornado, how much damage was caused by this. So that's the story. What's interesting about today's weather, we haven't had a ton of pics and videos, but we've had some really amazing ones that have come in. So the quality of the ones that have come in have been really something else. People that fortunately weren't in the path of them or quite a distance away from them, it gave us very vivid pictures and videos of it. So it's interesting to marvel at Mother Nature from a distance, in my opinion. Nobody wants to be too close to any of this weather, including yours truly, but it's a sad situation when you got to go through it. We've talked about this before. I lost my home about eight years ago, right after a storm system came through. A tree fell right through the house, and I didn't say on the house, it fell through the house. So I know what it feels like to suffer major damage from these storms, and it is just a horrifying thing when it happens. So right now we're seeing some drone pictures again. This is from Hunter McDowell, Highway 84 West. Oh, really? Okay, do we have that confirmed? Okay. Okay, so we are now getting confirmation. There has been a fatality, unfortunately. This is from the storm in Adams County. We don't know whether it's tornado or wind damage, but a tree fell on a home. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
And so Maggie Wade just bringing this information to me. Maggie, if you don't mind, just if anything you know about it. I'm interested.
What we know now is that one home in Natchez has been destroyed. It collapsed with one individual deceased and 2 people injured.
Okay, so we have.
And that's from MEMA.
Okay, and so that is official and that is confirmed, and that's hard news to take. But one person, there has been one fatality from today's storm so far. We have at least 2 injuries reported. There may be more than that. But that is always something that we take to heart here, because a lot of this is unavoidable. It doesn't make a difference. You can sometimes be warned about the storm, but that doesn't always make a difference. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's just upsetting news to hear. But you know, we have 1 person dead, 2 people injured. That is the latest report that we have confirmed. We're monitoring all those conditions here. Valicia Gavin is currently located in Rankin County. She is at the location of another home that's been damaged. And why don't you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, hey Dave, so we're here in North Grove Circle in Brandon where a tree fell on top of a house. Now, we spoke with the owner of the home. He says that he was upstairs when it happened and he was trapped upstairs, but the Reservoir Fire Department responded quickly and got him out safely, and his wife was downstairs and she was safe. Now, no one was hurt. He had a small cut on his forehead, but that was it. He says he's very grateful to the Reservoir Fire Department. This is the house. You can see it right behind me. Again, big tree fell inside the house, and just a few moments ago we actually heard more damage happen. We're not sure exactly what happened, but more damage was done to the house. The owner says that he plans to speak with his insurance company soon to figure out, but he thinks that it's pretty much a total loss or very expensive damages. Now, that's the very latest here in Brandon. I'm live in Brandon. Lucy Gavin, they're inside.
Well, that's good news to hear that nobody there was seriously hurt with that tree that fell down there. This is the way it looks right now on the radar perspective, and just want to show you we're still dealing with a tornado warning that's in effect for 2 counties in our viewing area, and until the National Weather Service kills these warnings, we're going to stay on the air with you. But you could see Jefferson Davis County, it's just light to moderate rain despite the fact you still have a tornado warning in effect. We think that's going to drop off probably in the next few minutes. And then also Atala County, they are still keeping this tornado warning in effect for that area, even though the tornadic cell has moved quite a distance out of Atala County. They are obviously working several counties at the same time. I say they, it's the National Weather Service who issues warnings for this type of situation. And you can see a lot of this is continuing to push eastward out of our area. So light to moderate rain continues right now, most of the region. I do have an update for you on the tornado watch. If we can go to that, you can see more counties have actually been removed off the tornado watch across our area, and that is most of our area. So right now we only have a few counties left that are under the tornado watch. That would be Jefferson, Davis, Pike, and Walthall counties. And in all fairness, the severe weather has moved east of the area. So you are no longer under a tornado watch. It is just a matter of time before these tornado warnings are actually removed from the area. So it's certainly some good news, but we continue to watch what's going on with this weather as all these storms are moving more so into the eastern part of the state. We're seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings. We're seeing some tornado warnings issued for eastern parts of Mississippi, but the reports are getting a little bit more sparse as to what kind of damage is coming in. And I suspect part of that's because it's nightfall. I also suspect that this is moving into a more of a rural area as it's getting farther away from population centers and moving into the eastern part of the state. So that's one of the most important things to take note on here. And now, even in the lower delta, the rain is coming to an end. So this system is really winding up quickly and kind of winding up on schedule. It may have started a little bit sooner and ended a little sooner as a result. But bottom line is, how do you think the forecast models did on this system, Nate? Because you've been watching it with us here for the past couple days.
I think that especially the HRRR, once we got towards this morning, that is what we were seeing. It verified. We've been saying that for the past couple of nights, that it would be starting around 5 to 6 p.m. and ending around 10. And like Dave said, it's getting out of the way a little bit sooner than expected. But I think that the models performed fairly well, especially with the tornado potential being to our south of I-20. And we seem to notice that the area around Franklin to all the way over to parts of Simpson County, they definitely seem to have the most warnings, the most frequent warnings, at least going into this evening. But unfortunately, we did see a lot of those severe thunderstorm warnings. We saw a lot of tornado warnings across the area, and hopefully everyone can just stay safe as we go throughout this evening. Stay indoors. Don't try to go investigate, because emergency managers, they are out there trying to remove the debris from the road. There's trees down in multiple areas. There are reports of damage to homes in multiple counties. And another thing I want to point out about that is that not only the damage did not only come from tornadoes. Some of the counties that we have heard that unfortunately have some damage and some injuries, that was from the severe thunderstorm warning, at least from my understanding. If my memory serves me correctly, earlier in the day, Natchez had the severe thunderstorm warnings, and that wasn't really the rotation that we were seeing. But as we said earlier, strong damaging winds, sometimes they can have the strength of a weak tornado anyway. So even if you didn't have rotation moving through, we still have damage and we still have power outages in areas that just had those severe thunderstorm warnings. But overall, the widespread severe weather that we have been anticipating, that definitely came to fruition, it looks like, over the last couple of hours.
And right now, let's just go over what time do those warnings expire, guys, the ones that are in northern Atala and Jefferson Davis counties. If you can give me that information, Chase, I would really appreciate it. Just want to get a perspective here.
This is a tornado warning.
So that's going to pop off there. And what's the one in northern Atala?
Also 1 minute, 8:30 as well.
All right.
So both will be here in the next minute 30.
All right. So we'll be here to sign them off. We just want everybody to be safe in our viewing area and be official about this. We're all about pomp and circumstance here at WLBT First Alert Weather. So when the tornado warnings go away for our viewing area, we are going to do the same and go back to regularly scheduled programming where you can watch the very latest entertainment for you. But in the meantime, here's the story. The rain is coming to an end. It's winding down. The severe weather threat is also winding down. The tornado watch has been canceled for central and parts of southwest Mississippi. It does expire at 9 o'clock anyway. What's going to happen tomorrow once we have daylight is more data will come in, more pictures, more videos. The National Weather Service will decide whether it warrants a survey where they will go out and they will actually conduct a survey to see what kind of damage was done, how significant it was, what direction it came from, what direction it traveled in, whether it was a tornado, whether it was straight line wind damage. I suspect there's probably going to be a little bit of both mixed in here because we had a windy storm in the first place. When you have thunderstorms that are moving 60 miles per hour, it's very easy to get wind damage out of them. You don't even need to get a tornado. And a lot of times, even Nate made this point earlier, and I think Chase, you did too. I don't want to take it away from you, but it was the wind from a thunderstorm can be equally as damaging as wind from a tornado. Maybe a lower end tornado, not an EF3 or above, but we have not really seen that so far today. So that's certainly been some good news. Coming up on 8:30 right now, you're watching severe weather coverage on WLBT and WDBD, and the tornado warnings have now expired for our area. The tornado watch also has been canceled for most of the area too. You're looking at moderate rain out there. We're going to continue to monitor information. We've got a big newscast coming your way in about 90 minutes on WLBT News at 10. We will see you then. For meteorologist Chase Franks and Ace Scales, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Roberts. First Alert Weather, we now return you to regularly scheduled programming.
You work hard, day after day, week after week, and you make things work. You deserve a mobile bank that will go to work for you with up to $200 in overdraft protection, early paydays, and building your credit the right way. Make your dreams real. GoToBank, the mobile bank that works for you. Open an account at gotobank.com or get a card today at a retail store near you.
Was 52, wind east at 6. At Peachtree City, with fog, it was 53, wind east at 7. At Lawrenceville, with fog, wind east at 8. At Cartersville, it was cloudy and 54, wind east at 8 gusting to 14. At Kennesaw, with light rain and fog, it was 52, wind east at 13. At Hampton, with fog, it was 51, wind east at 10. At Covington, with drizzle, wind east at 7. At Monroe, with fog, the temperature was 50. Elsewhere around the region, at Athens, with fog, it was 50, wind east at 8. At Gainesville, with fog, it was 50, wind east at 10. At Macon, it was cloudy and 62, wind east at 5. At Columbus, with fog, it was 62, wind east at 10. At Birmingham, it was cloudy and 63, wind southeast at 13 gusting to 24. At Rome, it was cloudy and 54, wind southeast at 7. At Chattanooga, with fog, it was 57, wind south at 3. At Asheville, with light rain and fog, it was 50, wind south at 8. At Augusta, with fog, it was 56, wind calm. At St. Simon's Island, it was clear and 64, wind southeast at 10. Patchy dense fog possible tonight across north and central portions of the state. Low clouds and fog will continue to be possible into the early morning hours across much of north and central Georgia. Widespread visibilities of 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile are likely. Patchy dense fog will also be possible with visibilities bouncing between 1/4 and 1/2 of a mile. The highest potential for dense fog should be between the Interstate 20 corridor and a line from Columbus to Macon. Visibility should begin to improve between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. as a strong line of thunderstorms approaches from the west. Here is the official forecast from your National Weather Service for the Atlanta listening area. Tonight, patchy drizzle. Lows in the lower 50s. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of precipitation 80%. Sunday, showers with thunderstorms likely in the morning, then partly sunny with a slight chance of showers in the afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Sunday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-40s. West winds up to 10 miles an hour. Monday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-60s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Monday night, mostly clear in the evening, then partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers after midnight. Lows in the upper 40s. South winds up to 10 miles an hour. And now the extended forecast. Tuesday and Tuesday night, partly cloudy. A 30% chance of showers. Highs in the mid-60s. Lows around 40. New Year's Day through Thursday night, mostly clear. Widespread frost. Highs in the lower 50s. Lows around 30. Friday and Friday night, partly cloudy. Widespread frost. Highs in the lower 50s. Lows in the upper 20s. Saturday and Saturday night, clear. Highs in the mid-40s. Lows in the mid-20s. For more detailed weather, water, and climate information, please visit our website at weather.gov/Atlanta. Here is the hazardous weather outlook. This hazardous weather outlook is for north and central Georgia. For this afternoon and tonight, scattered thunderstorms are possible across much of the area late this afternoon into the overnight. A line of strong to severe thunderstorms is expected to move into northern and western Georgia early on Sunday morning. Damaging wind gusts and a few tornadoes are concerns. Periods of heavy rainfall are expected tonight through Sunday morning, especially across North Georgia. Isolated flash flooding and minor river flooding will be possible. And now the extended outlook for the period Sunday through Friday. The line of strong to severe thunderstorms will continue progressing across the area Sunday morning and early afternoon. Damaging wind gusts and a few tornadoes are concerns. Much of the forecast area is under a slight risk, or level 2 out of 5, for severe thunderstorms. Spotter information statement. Spotter activation is not requested, but spotters are encouraged to submit reports of severe weather through the web by going to weather.gov/Atlanta. Please relay any information about observed severe weather to the National Weather Service. The current time is 9:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here are the 9 p.m. weather observations from around the area. At Atlanta, with fog reducing visibility to 1/4 of a mile, the temperature was 52 degrees, dew point 51 degrees, relative humidity 97%, wind east at 10 miles an hour.
But they're coming. So again, we're going to continue to kind of stay and watch these cameras and see if we see anything popping up. But again, definitely not a good time to travel at all, as again, the worst of the weather is approaching the metro of Meridian, and it's very important that you stay in your safe space. I'm going to switch it over to DeKalb right now, where it seems to be a bit of a lightning show. At least it was before I came. You know how that goes. But yeah, there you go. You definitely see a lot of flashes of light. You have a lot of rough weather. Looks like Decatur is more so kind of coming on the back end of the worst of the weather. But again, we're definitely have to keep our eyes out for what comes into Clark County, Lauderdale County, and Kemper, as again, those are the counties that are up next for the worst of the storms as they continue to kind of march into our neck of the woods. So we'll go back to the radar view. And I want to give you all an idea of what's taking place. Again, we have the main line that's coming in. Just an update. I believe that the National Weather Service also dropped out parts of Scott. And we know Scott and Smith counties were eliminated from the warning, but I believe parts of Newton and parts of Jasper have been eliminated as well. So just the eastern portions of Newton, the eastern portions of Jasper still remain, as well as the extreme eastern portions of Neshoba County, just kind of where the worst of the storms are. Once that moves on by, your threat for tornadic activity is over, but you will still have to deal with very heavy rain. So again, just a good idea to stay inside once the worst of these storms move on by. But heads up anywhere from, again, Kemper, Lauderdale, and this main line of storms that's marching in, and these storms are mean and pack a punch. They do have reports of damage, okay, along their path, or along its path more so. So just make sure that you are in your safe place. If you're in a mobile home, hopefully you've already gotten to that more sturdier structure, because there are spin-ups along this line, meaning areas of rotation based on radar, and a tornado could spawn at any moment along this main line, and you don't want to be in a mobile home. You want to be in a more sturdy structure. You don't want to be traveling at this time. You want to stay inside and get to that lowest level of your home, away from windows, a bathroom, a closet, a storm shelter, a basement. Those are the best places to be right now, as again, the worst of the weather is making its way into these 3 counties. And again, with the setup that we have, the National Weather Service is not issuing individual cell warnings. They're issuing county warnings, because we're talking about a line of storms, a squall line that's moving in, and as it comes in, it is going to pack a punch. So, Zach, if you can, go ahead and go to the velocity signature for me. We're going to do our tour again. It's very important to kind of give you these updated times. As you know, if you've been with us over the past hour or so, these storms the whole line can kind of speed up and slow down. So we want to give you a more detailed, updated view of the times. Now, as I look at this, We still see these little kinks. And again, you see these little darker shades of red. Those are the areas where there could be a spin up. Now, where we see where the green is touching the red, that's definitely an area where we have a spin up potential because we're looking at an actual rotation there. That's what's giving us that green and red, and we call that a couplet. But even those little areas, we saw the little shades of darker red, that could become a bit more distinct as we go through time. So that's why we say along this main line, you could definitely have quick tornadoes that spawn at a moment's notice. So you want to make sure that you are in your safe place right now if you are anywhere in the Clark County area, especially if you're currently west or along 45. So we're watching this area here. It just updated the scan, so it's right on top of Enterprise, and that's a decent size, or should I say a decent looking circulation. You may hear the sirens outside. This is something to take seriously. This is where you want to go ahead and jump into that safe place. Stay there, have the TV turned up, have your phone with you so you can hear what's happening. But again, this is all marching towards us. So we're going to go ahead and give you the latest on this because this is more distinct. Those other areas farther north, well, we don't really see the actual circulation just as distinct as this one is. So to me, this is a bit more important. This one could be very dangerous as it could be spawning a tornado right now. So if you're in the area that looks to be Watubi, get to that safe place now, the lowest level, away from windows, bathroom, closet. It is just about to be on top of Highway 11 between Enterprise and let's say that County Road 320 area where it kind of parallels that. So if you're within this community here, you want to be in that lowest level. Stonewall, it is going to be pushing towards you. So if you're in Stonewall right now, lowest level of your home, away from windows, bathroom, closet, get there now. Now is the time to take action. When you hear that siren go off, that means it's go time, okay? Watch is when there are the possibility for threatening weather. We are under a warning now for really Clark, Kemper, as well as the Lauderdale County area. So it is now time to get to your safe place. Stonewall, get to that lowest level of your home. Again, County Road 320. Zach, if we can go ahead and go a little bit farther south with this to see what's going on in terms of any more circulations. Pachuta, go ahead and get to your safe place. Circulation is not as distinct, but again, we can have those little spin ups. So go ahead and get to that lowest level. Same deal if you're in Elwood and if you're in Quitman right now. The storms are approaching your area and they're moving east roughly at about 45 miles per hour. So at a good clip. So it's going to be in the Quitman area very shortly. Let's go a little farther south and see if we have any more of those circulations. Again, there could be one just about there. There could be another one just about there. That's just to the east of Heidelberg. So we're going to zoom in a little bit to these communities. This is south of 45, right now south of Shibuda. But again, if you're in County Road 240, get to your safe place right now. Good water. Get to your safe place. There could be, again, a tornado being spawned with those little kinks that we see along the main line. And this is also going to be shifting east, so it's going to kind of parallel parts of County Road 250. So if that's your neighborhood, now is the time to get to that lowest level. Now is the time to put your plan into action. That severe weather plan that hopefully you've had in place all day. Now is the time to go ahead and get those things moving because we want to make sure we keep you safe and that you stay in your safe place until these storms move on by. So we're going to give you a broader perspective. We're going to zoom out a little bit and let you see what's happening. Again, that's definitely a distinct cell. I do believe they're coming east of that Jasper County line, pushing into the Clark County area. So again, if you're around the Stonewall area right now, we have a distinct cell pushing towards you. Get to your safe place. Same deal if you're west of Shibuda. That's shifting east. We do see rotation with that to get to your safe place. Quitman, you're not excluded. You're within this. Get to your safe place. Do not travel up and down 45 right now if you can. If you had a quick stop to make, now is not the time. Let this main line of storms move on by. Let's go up into the Lauderdale County area, Zach. See what's happening here. We do have some areas where we have some of these spin-ups. Potentially, we have some signs of maybe a little bit of a kink of rotation trying to develop. This is west of 19, south of Collinsville. A little bit of a distinct one there. Maybe a little something here, south of 20. Now just pushed past the chunky area. That's what we were watching when it was in Newton County. So again, Meridian, anywhere near the metro, areas west. Again, don't travel. Let's go ahead and zoom in south and west of Meridian and give a look at some of the neighborhoods and communities there. Again, Lost Gap, you want to go ahead and get to your safe place. Arundel, get to your safe place. Graham, again, you want to make sure you're in that lowest level of your home. Let's go a little farther north. I do see a little bit of a a little color distinction there. Let's go ahead and get down in there. That's west and south and west of Nellyburg. So let's go a little farther south and west of Nellyburg and get some of those streets there, a little bit of a closer view if we can. So again, if you're anywhere within that Fairchild Road area, again, go ahead and get to that lowest level. If you're in any of the communities within this region, go ahead and get to a place of safety. Again, away from windows, bathroom, closet. We'll go ahead and give a broader view here. Again, this is going to be shifting east and eventually it's going to impact downtown Meridian. So again, right now, Meridian, this is now the time to get to where you're going to be in your home, that lowest level. Make your way downstairs, get in the basement if necessary. This main line with some distinct areas of rotation, they're shifting in. As we go farther towards the north, keep in mind, we are quite a bit away now from the radar. So it's going to be hard for us to really get a good view of the distinct circulations in areas, let's say throughout Kemper County, because we don't have the benefit of being near the radar, and we're looking way up in the atmosphere, but you still see some signs of circulation there. But again, if we were a little closer to the radar, it would be a little bit more distinct. And I do believe we'll see a lot more of the green and red if, again, we were closer to the radar. So being far away from the radar, we are kind of in a zone where we can't see as well. So again, DeKalb, anywhere within Kemper County, you want to get to that lowest level right now. You want to get to your safe place as you are right on that main line, and we could be dealing with some very dangerous conditions as this line comes in, as again, a tornado or 2 or 3 could be spawned along the line. You have any updates, Zach?
Neshoba just got dropped from the tornado warnings. Those Winston County reports of a tree down in Bay Springs.
And did it give an area?
That says the Highway 528 area, Bay Springs.
All right, so again, we got reports of a tree down.
That's a tree down on a house, though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not something we wanted to hear. Okay, Bay Springs has a report of structure damage. Any reports of injuries or anything so far?
No injuries reported.
All right, so again, right now we have an active warning for the Kemper County area, for Lauderdale, for Clark County. Neshoba County, you are in the clear. Okay, you're behind the main line. Most of Newton County, you're in the clear. Still, if you're around Chunky, stay in your safe place. Again, we're still watching that main line of storms trying to get out of your area. Not quite yet, though. And if you are in Bay Springs, you're in the clear. Any counties behind those, you're in the clear. That includes Scott, that includes Smith, that also includes the Lee County area. So right now, active warnings that are in place. We have the one for the Kemper County area, as well as for Lauderdale County, as well as for the Clark County area. They go until about 9:30. So make sure that you are staying weather aware between now and then and let this main line pass. If you're not already, get to your safe place. We don't have any distinct area that we're watching. We're watching the entire line as we can get these distinct spin-ups along the line, which we've seen, and that could create some issues. So you don't want to travel. You want to go ahead and get to your safe place, get to your storm shelter if you're not there already with your phone in hand watching us on social media. Again, get to your safe place. This is very dangerous. This whole line has had some history of creating damage, and as Zach mentioned, reports even in Bay Springs here most recently of maybe some damage being done to a home. Again, if you're in Newton County, if you're in the Jasper County area, you're almost in the clear. If you're closer to that Lauderdale and Clark County line, you want to stay in your safe place. Otherwise, I think it's safe for you to go ahead and come on out of your safe place. If you're west of, let's say, the Newton area, or if you're west of Montrose, you should be good to go. But again, very heavy rain with this. Rain wrap, you won't see a thing coming your way if you try to look outside, okay? The worst of the weather is coming up on Meridian. So what we're going to do, we want to kind of take a look at the cameras if we can, Seth, and kind of look outside, get a different perspective. You have Zach there that is going to kind of maneuver the cameras to kind of see what's happening. Maybe you want to check out the airport.
You know, that airport cam looks super ominous right now. I mean, just with how it's... how it's all kind of shaped up here. I mean, you can see the low-hanging